Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Season 26 Championship Kickoff Show. I'm Mike Daggs. He is Gerald Smith. On production with us for this one, we've got Cameron Irvine, Mike O'Neill, and Ashley Jackson. She'll be doing some interviews for us later on. It is almost time for the Season 26 SFL Championship game between Detroit and Vancouver. Gerald, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. It's not quite how we thought it would have went.
Not even a little.
But you know what? These two teams are here, and it's nice to see a different team make it to the championship.
Says
Everybody likes different, but at least I do.
Yeah.
If I couldn't make it, somebody new might as well.
Yeah, well, appreciate you all joining us for the next 60 minutes. We will get ready for the show. We've got for the the big game, I should say. We've got interviews, we've got breakdowns, we've got some film that Mike O'Neill put together for us. We'll talk about that film as well. Robert Henson in the chat. Gerald says Mittens looking pretty snazzy tonight. We had to class it up a little bit.
Yeah, we got to.
It's the championship.
It's a championship game. It's a big moment for all teams involved. So gotta do what we gotta do.
So let's talk about the semifinal round and how we got here. We both picked Birmingham and Mexico City to make it to this game. Both of those teams are sitting at home watching. I'm one of those teams sitting at home watching. Hey, at least I get to still participate in the pregame show. They didn't kick me off there. But started out with Birmingham visiting Vancouver. Both teams 8-4. Both teams division winners. Should be a pretty even matchup, right? 52-point margin of victory, 62-10. Vancouver getting the win. Gerald, what happened in that?
It was looking pretty rough, and it was Vancouver's defense completely shut down what Birmingham has done well all season long. Stopped them, shut them down, and they minimized their yards that they were able to put up. And then they forced some turnovers on, one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league.
Sure did, yeah. Jesse Fretz with the $10 super chat. Whoa, gentlemen, I think my monitor's starting to overheat. Looking sharp.
That's what I'm saying.
For the big day. Yeah, it needed to be done. Vancouver just absolutely dominating in that game from start to finish. And Birmingham, heck of a season. Not looking forward to playing them again next season. Mexico City and Detroit. This game was much closer. Tied most of the way through. Tied at half. Tied, I think, at the end of the third quarter, too. Finally, Detroit got the edge in the end. 34-27 got the win over the Aztecs to prevent them from going to their fourth straight championship. So finally, we do see a different team here in the championship tonight.
And they did it in a different way as well. One thing I was concerned with them was their turnovers and what was going to happen. Stayed clean. They flipped it, and they actually forced Mexico City to turn the ball over, and that's what got them where they are.
Much to my dismay.
Yeah.
Ethan Flowers has thrown 872 interceptions this season. The Aztecs defense could get a grand total of 0. So, something to work on in the offseason. So that brings us to tonight. Vancouver and Detroit going head-to-head in the Season 26 championship game. For Vancouver, they're a team that has been here before. They won last season. They're the defending champs. They were in the championship for the first time in their franchise history in Season 24. They lost that game. Both of those games were against the Mexico City Aztecs. Vancouver, stranger to success since Season 14. They've had a winning record all the way through except for one fluke season in Season 23. But how about Detroit? They started off as the Indianapolis Ramblers back in Season 19. Only one winning season as Indianapolis, one playoff appearance, did not win that playoff game. Fast forward to Season 25, they move to Detroit. They become the Maulers. They go 6-6 in that season. Here they are now in Season 26, 10-2. Number 1 seed, took down their quarterfinal opponent, took down their semifinal opponent. They're in the championship game.
Look, and what a change that they've actually had, right, from what they were, just mediocrity team, right, as the Ramblers came on, made that change, and actually went, like you said, 500, and got themselves to number 1 seed to get to where they are now. And Vancouver, a lot of people don't realize Vancouver, they won a gazillion divisional championships in a row for a while. So they're no stranger to success at all, like you mentioned. So it's no surprise that this is their third championship appearance in a row.
Yeah. And could they win back-to-back championships, something that's only been done a handful of times in the SFL. Throughout the entire season, we'll talk about this more during our game breakdown near the end of the show as well. But Vancouver, just they started off good. They had a little bit of a run in the middle of the season where they lost a handful of games. They went 2-3 during the stretch of the middle of the season, but then turned things around here in the second half of the season and have looked just as dominant as ever. I mean, Oklahoma City, they shut them out 34-0. They went into the quarterfinals. They beat Washington 37-31, and then Birmingham 62-10. I still can't get over that score in the semifinal game. That's the most points they put up all season. But they opened up the season with a 38-point margin of victory over Arizona, holding them to only 3 points. They had a 30-point margin of victory, over DC, back in week 6. So really, really good. But Detroit, 10-2 throughout the regular season. They only lost to Birmingham, who was a semifinal team.
Yep.
And then one fluke game to Miami. I'm actually going to talk about that one a little bit later on. But otherwise, 10-2. Great job by both of these squads to get here.
Yeah, look, and Vancouver. I mean, you already know. I was questioning how good they were coming in here when they got in the middle of the season. It looked like they struggled. Didn't look like they did last season or near as good. But what they did, they turned it around the last week. And turned it completely around and looked really good. And Birmingham didn't really miss a beat at all. Just kind of kept doing their thing all season.
All right, we are going to talk about season 25 after some interviews. We're going to talk about the season 25 awards. But first, we've got Ashley Jackson sitting down with Detroit's Andrew Gibson and Vancouver's Ezekiel Bear.
Right, we are back. We are back with Mr. Andrew Gibson, good friend of mine, over from the Detroit Maulers. They're running back. What's going on with you, baby?
Not much, just kind of chilling, enjoying the prep before the big game, just trying to savor the moment for sure. So
I bet you are. I mean, after all, you are no stranger to the playoffs. Since you've been here, you have been a member of some really good teams like Canton. Well, Indy, kind of struggled with Indy, but then once,
absolutely,
to Detroit,
absolutely,
you've been nonstop. So, season 21 to 26, you've been in the league. Why is this particular season important for you?
I think this season is important for me because I've learned that making the playoffs in this league is no easy feat, and even though I haven't contributed as much this season as I would prefer to, I still feel confident about this team. I mean, I've seen this team at our high, and I've seen this team at our low, and it's just fun to be a part of a winning environment, and this is the most confident I've felt about this team in a while, with the fact that our defense is contributing, our offense is looking good, like everybody's starting to click, and I think that's just the most fun about this team is just everything's starting to slowly fall into place, and that's what I like to see, honestly.
So why were you so patient when you were going through those times when there was Indy and going through all of those rough times, those rough patches? Why did you decide as a player to stick with this team instead of just going somewhere else and trying to run a ring somewhere else?
Because I think what made me want to stick with this team is I saw what JW and Ellie and I saw what the whole coaching staff was starting to build. And I was like, okay, I trust the process here. I know not every season is going to be like my first few in this league. I know we're going to have some rough seasons, but we're going to get through that. And that's what this Detroit team has really shown is that we're able to persevere through those tough times. And I think that's what I just like most about this team is that even when we're at our low, we're still there for each other. We shrug off a rough game in there and it's on to next week.
Awesome. Last question. Thoughts on tonight's game? What does Detroit have to do to beat Vancouver? Vancouver can definitely score more than 38 points, and it seems like Detroit will not allow a lot of points. But they just scored 62 on Birmingham. So what do you guys have to do?
I think I think when it comes to stopping Vancouver, it's going to just come up to the defense. I mean, the defense is definitely going to have their hands full stopping that high-powered Vancouver offense. I mean, obviously, we saw Vancouver put up 60 on Birmingham. I mean, but the defense has got to use that as an alarm. Like this Vancouver offense is no playing around. So I think it's going to come up to the defense.
All right. Well, good luck tonight. I'll be watching you guys.
Absolutely.
I'm joined with a good friend of mine, Mr. Ezekiel Bear, wide receiver for the Vancouver Legion and, current champion. I know that feels good to say current champion, huh?
Yeah. Winning and defending.
Right. Speaking of defending, so you guys will have to defend your championship title against one of the toughest teams in the SFL to date, and that is Detroit Maulers. So, from your perspective, what do you feel has to happen tonight in order for that to take place?
I don't know. Like, we're just gonna have to execute our game plan. Just play, run the ball, pass it. I mean, we have faith in all three aspects of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. And we'll just, go out there and play our game. I'm sure the same could have been said the past two championship games against Mexico City that we played the toughest team. So it's just familiar ground for us.
Indeed. So you've been with Vancouver from seasons 24 to 26. They drafted you, took a chance on Ezekiel Bear. And actually, Brett told me that he wants to win the championship again for players like you. When you hear that coming from one of your owners, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. But honestly, all the stuff that I hear from the ownership makes me, and a lot of it's the fact that I feel very blessed that they took a chance on me. So for me, it's just like I love to hear that sort of thing. Also, when we bring in new players, I want them to get a ring with us too. So I just kind of feel like I fell right into home, and I'm right on board with them about winning championship after championship after championship, much to the SFL's dismay, probably.
Right, exactly. Last question on that, though. Do you think that winning a secondary ring, a secondary title, do you think that would feel as good as it did the first time?
I don't. Yeah, still as good, and I hesitate for that for a different reason. But that's because every championship game has gotten more and more personal for me, with this one being the most personal. That's because I grew up outside of Detroit. I rep the sports teams, Pistons, the Red Tigers, the Lions. I go down to Detroit all the time, or I used to before I moved to the Southwest Michigan. But yeah, I was rooting for the Maulers every week in the SFL. Yeah, I pop my head into their games, check them out. So, win or lose, part of me is gonna be upset, regardless of I would have a second ring or if Detroit gets a championship.
Awesome. Well, Ezekiel, good luck out there. Hope you get a touchdown or two, yourself, be able to pad those stats. It's going to be a tough challenge. If you guys can score another 62 points, you may have a chance.
It will be a tough challenge, but I have faith in us.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you tonight on the field, brother.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks for those, Ashley. Appreciate you doing those interviews. It's great to hear from both of those players. But we're going to keep things rolling right along here. Gerald, back at the end of season 25, we did not get to see the winners of the awards from that season due to just a condensed, busy, hectic off season. But good things come to those who wait. So better late than never. We're going to get right into season 25 awards, and we're going to start right off with the surprise player of the season for season 25. Let's see it. Who do we got? That's right, Andrew Gibson. You just saw him on your screen, and now he is honored as the surprise player of the season for season 25. The Indianapolis Ramblers were coming off a pedestrian finish, and Gibson turned in 334 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. When the team was sold and relocated to Detroit, Gibson became the starter and erupted 813 yards and 10 touchdowns. He also caught 28 passes for 248 yards and an additional 3 touchdowns. He was named an All-Star for the first time in his career and leading all halfbacks in all-purpose yards.
Look, and it just shows them just a relocation, a whole team change there can have one player come in and have a breakout season, and you can see they've actually continued that on into this season as well.
Did.
So them going 6-6, him having, nearly a 500+ yard spike, right, into, season 25, and then doing what he did today, helping his team get to the championship game.
All right, most improved player of the season for season 25 is Mike Churchill from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh running back had modest performances in season 23 and 24 with 308 and 348 yards respectively, but Churchill put his developmental season for good use in Boston, and when he returned to Pittsburgh, he burst onto the scene with 947 rushing yards and a league-leading 14 rushing touchdowns, more than all rushing touchdowns in his previous SFL and SFLM stints combined, and it earns him his first All-Star honor in his 9 SFL seasons.
Look, and I can't agree more, right? And that was back when Pittsburgh did their thing that made it a playoff, looked really, really good last season and everything else, and he was a big part of that.
All right, time for your defensive rookie of the season from season 25 is Houston's Don Rohr. Houston defensive end Don Rohr had a season to remember for the Headhunters and nearly vaulted to an All-Star honor in his first season, missing the cut by 1 spot. Rohr registered 11 tackles for a loss, 9.5 sacks, while also forcing a fumble. Rohr and the Headhunters made it to the semifinals, falling to Vancouver, and then eventually Vancouver went on to win the championship.
Look, and it's not very often you have a rookie come right in there and nearly get double-digit sacks on the season. This day and age, APF was a little bit easier. The offensive linemen just weren't very competitive. But guess what? Now in the 2K era, it's more and more difficult to get to the quarterback. And him getting 9.5 sacks as a rookie, really, really good.
All right, your offensive rookie of the season, somebody who continued on quite a bit here in season 26. But for season 25, it was Michael Goodman, who was with the Denver Nightwings at that point. Goodman finished his first season in the SFL with 32 receptions, 522 yards, and 6 touchdowns. His efforts left him just a few short calculation points from an all-star nod, and that helped the Denver Nightwings vault back into the postseason and to a wild card win over Baltimore. Congrats, Michael Goodman.
And one other thing, he was always a player last season that came up when he was needed, right? So always made the big catch and everything else, and it showed how he was able to help his team get us for it and then beat a team who's won a gazillion championships in Baltimore. So congrats to him.
All right, your special teams player of the season for season 25. Let's take a look. It is Arizona's Fox Highwind. He averaged 38 yards per kick return and took 3 back to the house in a shining moment for Highwind in his 10th SFL season. A true SFL comeback story, quite frankly. Highwind tied multiple players for a kick return touchdown record, including Portland Fleet's Scott Johnson, who had 3 in season 21, and he was the last returner to take home the award before Highwind got it in season 25.
See, and I really, really like to see the runners get it because guess what? The returners, because most time it's a field goal kicker. Otis Boudreaux owned it all the time, it seemed like. But guess what? Congratulations to him. When you put up numbers like that, you deserve to get it.
Yep. So, all right, your defensive player of the season, getting into the big ones now. Defensive player of the season for season 25, Detroit's Sean Parent. You'll see him playing here in a little bit. Parent set the 4K23 sack record in that season with 16.5 sacks, 4.5 more than any other player. Parent also contributed 20 tackles for a loss, 30 total tackles on the season. He's the first defensive lineman to win the award since Cam Frosby won it with the London Knights back in season 20.
Well, and it's kind of crazy because guess what? He was destroying. That's when I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And that was what Detroit put together from a defensive scheme standpoint. And he did it with 16 and a half sacks, nearly 5 more than any other player. Congrats to him. And still keeping it going.
Oh, absolutely. Your offensive player of the season from season 25. Let's take a look. It is Ivory Irvin, who is with the Baltimore Vultures. Ivory Irvin could not be stopped in season 25 in Baltimore's pass-happy scheme. He totaled career highs in receptions with 113 and yards at 1,753 and tied his season 22 output with 10 touchdowns. He was named to his 10th career All-Star team, and this was Irvin's first postseason award in his career.
Unstoppable, because he's had quite a colorful career right there. But man, 113 receptions and 1,700 plus yards.
Wild.
It's impressive, I tell you.
All right, it is time to look at the MVP from season 25. Who won the top honor? Type Attack from Chicago. The mad scientist, as Gerald lovingly called him, and then he went on to just do what nobody else could possibly do. No one has been more valuable to a team in a season than Type Attack was to the Chicago Warriors in season 25. Patak racked up a total of 41 all-purpose touchdowns, actually sniffing a record from season 5 with 59 touchdowns from Rocco Marconi. That was just a aberration of a season then. His 32 passing touchdowns and 3,862 passing yards were the most in the 4K23 era, and his play led the Chicago Warriors to their first playoff appearance since their Seattle days in season 22. Patak took home the top offensive rookie honors in season 21. Congrats to Patak, MVP from season 25.
And I told Ty Patak to stop doing what he's doing, that he wasn't a mad scientist. Whatever the experience wasn't working, but it worked last season, and he put up godly numbers.
Oh, yeah. So congrats to all the season 25 award winners. We also have your season 26 award winners, but because we just like to torment people just a little bit, mainly him, we are going to make you wait until halftime. So you got to stick around, watch the game, enjoy the game. At halftime, we will reveal the season 26 award winners, so you don't have to wait to hear those ones. Just 2 quarters, that's all. So let's talk about some of the things that are coming up in this upcoming season. We've got the Philadelphia Cougars moving up into the SFL from the minor league. Looking forward to seeing them on the field. It's also going to create a really fun Pennsylvania rivalry with the Pittsburgh Riverhogs just down the highway, a complete other side of the state. But, Philadelphia Cougars are led by Chris Britton III and Jason Peace. They are headed to the pros after 5 seasons in the minor league with the acquisition of the Florida Storm. The move continues to shift in SFL history as former champions step aside for the next generation of SFL leadership to take shape. Florida, which was led by Max Paulson, season 8, won a staggering 5 championships in season 10, 11, and 12. Those were their first 3 of the player progression area, and then again in season 21 and 22, the first 2 seasons of the 2K4 era, and really are going to miss Florida and Max Paul. The Storm was such a great storied franchise, so many memories. That was like the big rivalry. It was Florida and Mexico City when I first came into the league, and Alex Dominguez constantly sacking Matt Wilson, and a lot of great memories. Congrats to everything that you did, Max Paul, with the Florida Storm. We will miss you, but Chris Britton and Jason Peace and the Philadelphia Cougars, we are ready to see you in the big league.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see, what Philadelphia is going to be able to bring to the, to the stage, getting promoted and everything else. But what a good, owner. Everything else that he's done for an entire franchise, win 5 championships, that's a ton.
It's impressive.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm happy with just my 2. I kind of want more, but
2 different eras of the game, 2 completely different play styles and everything else. He had to adjust, and they did it.
So the only change that's going to make to the divisional alignment, your West division will look exactly the same as it currently does. You've got Anchorage, Arizona, Albuquerque, Los Angeles, Oklahoma City, Vancouver, and Washington. They will remain in the West. Moving into the South is going to be the Carolina Skyhawks, and that's something I definitely want to talk about more. Can't do it on this show, but we're going to talk about it more as the season 27 gets started for sure. But your South division is now going to be Birmingham, Bossier City, Carolina, Fort Worth, Houston, Mexico City, and Miami. And the East will now be Chicago, D.C., Detroit, Lexington, Minnesota, and, of course, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's good. Look, I like the way they look in the way the West, like I said, staying the same.
Yep.
The South got a couple of teams in there that got a battle for it, and it's gonna be tough for them. And the East getting a little bit of a change and see what's gonna happen there. I like the Pennsylvania rivalry they got going.
Looking forward to season 27 already, but we still got season 26 to wrap up. And Ashley was able to sit down with a couple of the coaches from these teams, Detroit's Ellie Diomez and Vancouver's Brett Solberg. Ashley, take it away.
I'm here with Mrs. Ellie Diomez, Detroit's defensive coordinator, as well as director of content and kicker. What's up, lady? Good to see you, babe.
Good to see you. Glad to be here.
Oh, glad to have you. And I know that you're probably on cloud nine. You got a lot of positive things going on.
Oh, man.
Focusing on Detroit. Great win over Mexico City, 34-27, former champions. Now you will be taking on the current champions. So what do you feel Detroit has to focus on defensively in order to run a ring this year?
Well, honestly, Vancouver's got some of the best receiving core this league has ever seen. Their quarterback is definitely someone to watch out for. Like, Christian Brown is a problem. So we're really focusing on trying to lock him down, make him make mistakes, get him to throw the ball into our hands a few times, kind of work it that way. We've been running sims obviously since we won the semifinals, because that's just what we do. So far it's been a mixed bag. We're struggling a little bit, but we're pulling some stops out. I think we got this.
Awesome. And it is kind of difficult to really determine, because all you're doing is just big chess mats, right? You don't know what you're doing. So
yeah.
It could be very difficult. But let's talk about coaching for a second. So if you had a pie, how would you divide the coaching responsibilities between all of the coaches?
Oh, God. If I'm totally honest, honestly, JW has his fingers in like every single section of this pie. This coaching staff would not be what it is without him at the top of it. I'm going to say that by far and large. And that's not just because I'm his partner. It's because, I've seen all of the effort that he puts into this. I've seen what he does. Mm-hmm. He's taught me a lot. I've taught him a lot, which is hilarious considering I've only been doing this for a season. Up in the pros anyway. So, but if I had to be honest, like, it's pretty well evenly matched. Across coaching responsibilities. Obviously, Casper's had a few things going on IRL, so he's been moving and such like that. So he's done a little bit less than he probably would have liked to do, but he hasn't been absent out of the coaching room, which is nice. Everyone is talking in there all the time. We've got our scouts in there. We've got Robert Henson in there. We've got T-Pat, who gives us a little advice here and there. Miles obviously helps out a lot, Rashawn. So I would say it's pretty well matched.
Okay. Last question for you. So with Indianapolis, I know that you started off with Indianapolis and their new former coaching staff, and then it changed over to Detroit. So what do you think happened during that change that made a struggling team like the Indianapolis Ramblers into the winning Detroit Maulers that they are today? What do you think occurred during that change that was so impactful, if you will?
I think we rounded out our roster. I think we fleshed out our coaching staff really well. I think there were a couple of backroom conversations we had, like, we put all of ourselves in a room and we're like, what do we want this to become? What can we do to get to where we want to be as a team? Obviously, season 25 didn't exactly go the way we wanted it to either. We missed out on the playoffs by this much. And we took that branding, that slogan that I have, that bite back.
Yes.
Slogan, we took that seriously this season. So we knuckled under and we were like, you know what? We're going to bite back. We're going to get up there. We're going to be where we want to be at the end of the season. So here we are.
10-2, one of the number one teams in the league. Congratulations on your accomplishments.
Thank you so much.
And can't wait to see what you guys do on the field tonight.
Oh, we can't wait to see it either.
All right, and we are back with my good friend, Mr. Brett Killian, Hall of Fame wide receiver, as well as co-owner of the Vancouver Legion. visiting the show. What's going on there?
Oh, man, I'm having an exciting week so far. It has been a lot of, outside of work. It's been a lot of, studying for this championship game. Is like my week has been chalked to the brim with activity. I'm excited.
Indeed, you should, as you should. I mean, you guys finished 8-4 during the regular season, number one in the West. How I feel about it. Current champions, current reigning champions. So, question for you. You have 46 touchdowns all season, including the ones that are in the playoffs. So, during this time, are you concerned about your own players' abilities? You're already in the Hall of Fame, right? So, are you concerned about your own playmaking abilities, or are you looking at it from an owner standpoint where you're looking at it from a whole team perspective?
It's more so a bit of column A and a bit of column B. Obviously, I want to still, contribute to the team and, be that number one wide receiver where it's necessary, but also at the same thought, I also have to think about the rest of the team as well. I got to think of guys like the backfield with JW and with Wells and with Lloyd. You got to think about getting their run game going, and then I also got to think of the other receivers as well. I want to get Nick Lockett going off, in the sunset with 2 straight championships. I want to get Easy B going, establishing his career, maybe becoming the successor to the Vancouver Legion front if I ever decide to retire at some point. But it'd be nice to have those extra stats alongside of being like, hey, I've got 20,000 some odd yards, I've got 150 touchdowns, have some numbers that are like, hey, I established myself in the league, I've been here for 9 years now at this point. It would be nice, but also at the same time, at the end of the day, we're all here to win. We're here to get our back-to-back championships.
I mean, what did y'all do to Birmingham, man? I mean, like 62-10. Come on, man, y'all could have threw in the white towel at some point. So explain into a little bit of that, because that's going to lead into my last question for you.
Yeah. So Birmingham, and I love what Jimmy Hatsis and Michael Goodman do in terms of building their playbook. But the thing that we noticed when we scouted them the first time this season is that we knew their book was very thin, and that was thin by design. So we knew that they wanted to get their money plays in quickly and immediately. But if we understand what money plays they want to do, we find the counters for it. And that's all Andy when it comes to building that defense to stop their money plays offensively and ensure that our offense runs just as well. So when it came to that defense, it was all Andy Hamilton. He had the plan for that. And it worked to perfection. And then we could run our plays, and we might have ran our plays ad nauseum, especially the fullback toss off of that strong eye wing jokers. I mean, it's going to work with that extra blocking, and it just happened to work more than we thought as well with it. So we got a run game going, and then the pass game kind of just came along with it. So a lot of it had to do with, it's like not expertly scouting per se, but it was like we figured out what worked right for them in the quarterfinal game especially, and then it also helped that we played them last early in the season as well.
Okay, so that said, you're heading to Detroit now. Now, I'm not sure which. I know that I think they have home field advantage.
They do.
So, what do you feel that Vancouver has to do tonight to be able to win this game? Because they've showed proof this whole season.
There's a couple of things that we need to do in order to beat Detroit. The first thing is going to shut down the run game. They trust in Rayshawn Williams to get them their chunks of yardage, and then as of recently, they've got Ethan Flowers going with the pass game too. So you've got to be wary of that. But the biggest thing, you stop the run first, force them into passing situations, because we know we have the playmakers on defense to make it work. Drew Hamilton has had an excellent transition from safety to outside linebacker in their position. We still have studs in the backfield like Jack Russell, Ron Hoff, Mark Lopez. Those guys can make plays when we need them to be. And then on the offensive side, we need to do a lot of what cost us a lot of games in the season, why we lost 4 games in the regular season. limit our mistakes. Yes, Christian Brown entered into the playoffs with 27 interceptions in the season. It's part of our high risk, high reward offense. But if we can get that high risk to pay off, those mistakes are going to become minimal for us offensively. So it needs to be a perfect balance of shutting them down in terms of their money plays and their money, offense with Rayshawn Williams and with Easton Flowers, progressing into this great pass catcher. But we need to limit that. We need to limit our mistakes offensively as well, and really be wary of that defensive line and how they spread out that our O line so much that we can't even scramble that football. You can tell I've done a lot of scouting already this week, but
right.
There's a lot of factors, but it's simply put, shut down the run game, force them to pass in long down situations, and then in turn for us, continue eating those first downs, chew up the clock, get that TOP, time possession.
All right then. Well, do what you gotta do. I'm gonna see you on the field.
Yeah, you betcha. I'm hoping for 20 catches, 300 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
All
No,
right.
it's not going to happen, but whatever.
Because I'll hold you to it. I'll see you, Brett. Thank you for your time.
You got it.
We got a video for you guys here, and it's put together by Mike O'Neill, and it's What's Hot by both of these squads right
That's
here.
right.
And here is Christian Brown. He is what has been hot for them. Brown continues to just have heavy formations in the red zone and with pinpoint accurate. That paid off right here. Brown, insanely, you're going to see right here, an insanely tight window to John Michael Sudduth. Pinpoint accuracy, split second decision making pays off, and he did it right there, Mike, as the team, got themselves a touchdown, got themselves on the board. And here's another one right here. He's pre-snap, looks over in Ezekiel Bear's direction and sees that the linebacker is playing out of position, out of a Jack's goal line formation. What does he run? 90 Jack hot, and actually puts some air under it and leads Bear into the end zone for another touchdown. Very, very good recognition by the quarterback. And look, who else is hot? That secondary for Vancouver. The entire secondary was on another level against Birmingham, a team that had been pretty good at not turning the ball over, right? We talked about many times. And to highlight the communication, it's anticipation throws targeting the deep parts of the field. On this first play, you're going to see Ron Hoff playing right there, pre-snap, right? He drops back in the deep third, and he ends up swapping with the safety, right? Who plays down the curl. Hoff perfectly positioned for the pick right here. And we're going to have another play right here. You got to keep your eye on Jack Russell. What he does, he just plays in the back and reads the quarterback's eyes perfectly. You see him highlighted right here. Knowing where the ball is going to go, just kind of played it back. What he does, he jumps the route right there. A little bit of overthrow, but still jumps the route. Make sure he had the eyes on the quarterback, knowing the ball is going. Really, really awesome play, which is why they are where they are.
All right, I'll talk about Detroit. How about Rayshawn Williams? He's been a force to be reckoned with all season. Last week against my beloved Aztecs, it was no different. His vision is the best in the SFL currently. Watch this toss play to the outside. There was motion pre-snap, overloaded everybody to one side, hat-on-hat blocking, but then this highlight is going to show you that perfect blocking springs Rayshawn down the sideline for 20+. He was just an absolute menace to try to stop, and the Aztecs have been really good at stopping the run all season long, but Williams says, well, I'm going to cause problems for you. How about another beautiful job blocking here? The defense, we brought 2 linebackers up to blitz, and Williams just decides, I'm going to run right up the A-gap, and you know what? Forget the fact that you even have a defense out there. I'm just going to waltz into the end zone and get myself a touchdown. So the offensive line, they were at the second level. They made sure Williams just got in there unscathed. I'll talk about the secondary as well, but I'm going to talk about one guy, King Jamal. He's an extremely versatile player for the Maulers. He came up clutch against Aztecs last week. On this first play, you'll see that he's going to be highlighted right there, pre-snap for you. He drops back into coverage, jumps another defender's route to take it back for 30+ yards. This was the first interception thrown by Sipe in the game, and I thought he might go to the house. Fortunately, I've got a little bit of wheels on the those half the O linemen, and Jordan Sipe chasing down his own interception. He wanted that back, but great job by Jamal. Now, how about this? Jamal being used in the linebacker spot. The offense, we motion to receiver. Detroit's going to send 2 players right up to the line to show blitz. Working against the Mexico City interior, Jamal shows speed and athleticism, goes almost untouched to Sipe in less than 2 seconds. Watch this. It was very disheartening for me. Snapped the ball, Sipe is sacked. Like, for the love of God, how am I supposed to defend against that? Congrats to Detroit for using their players in the best way possible. That's who's hot for Vancouver and for Detroit. Thank you to Mike O'Neill for putting that video together for us. It's really great. Ron Haynes was otherwise occupied, so Mike O'Neill stepped up to the plate, still making us look good. Appreciate all you guys helping out with the show all season long. We're actually going to throw it right back over to Ashley because she met with a couple of the owners. You got Robert Henson from Detroit. You've got Andy Hamilton from Vancouver. Final interviews before we get to our breakdown. Ashley Jackson, take it away.
All right, we are back with Mr. Robert Henson Jr., co-owner as well as tight end for the Detroit Maulers. Man, you guys have had a phenomenal season. I mean, finishing up 10-2. You've already blasted through the playoffs to make it to this final moment. So I want to know from you right now, how does this feel to be on the cusp of winning the championship?
If we're being honest, I don't think anybody thought we'd be here. I mean, we'd never gotten this far. I've been close. I think I made the semifinals with Minnesota the year Mexico City won their first. I thought I'd be happier, but this is a lot of pressure, and it's a lot for the team. I'm happy for everybody that's here that believed in us and bought into the message that the locker room we were trying to do. This is insane. The playoffs have been insane. But
so
I'm excited for the game. But it's like the season being over is like, I'll be okay with that too.
It is like heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? You know, everybody's looking at you now. This is the final game. This is for all the marbles. So I want to know, since you mentioned Minnesota, why is it important for you to win a championship now with Detroit versus staying with Minnesota to win one with them?
It isn't let's see. I want to put this right. I got nothing but respect and love for everybody in Minnesota. They were my first BJ. I love him to death. Meerkats, Reno, all those guys. My family's here. Portia's here. Willow's here. J-Dub's here. Cherry's here. Ellie's here. My bench brother Deli's here. Minnesota was my first, but this is really a family locker room here. And these guys believed in what we were putting down. They could have left last season when we were 500. They stuck around in all of us. And they believed in all of us. And look at where they got us.
What do you think you have to do as a squad to be able to take home that ring?
We need to play perfect. They have weapons all over, both sides of the ball. We just watched them crush Birmingham, a team that beat us. I think we have to play perfect, and I promise you, we are working our tails off to put ourselves in the best position possible, and we're going to lay the chips down. We're playing with house money. Nobody thought we'd be here. Vancouver was supposed to be here. Mexico City was supposed to be here. It's house money for us.
All right, man. Well, Robert, I wish you the best of luck. And hey, y'all win a championship. I'll be seeing you again pretty soon, Dick.
Yes, ma'am.
I am back with my good friend, Andy Hamilton, co-owner, head coach, Hall of Famer, current champion. Did I miss anything, man?
Young man, just a kid, man, just a kid.
Well, hey, congratulations to you guys for making it back to the chip. I know that is not an easy task. And one of my first questions for you is, did you see yourself returning this season so soon to get another ring, perhaps?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think our team is really strong, right? We have a lot of great individuals on the team, a lot of people that have dedicated their lives to playing in Vancouver, and playing for us and our squad. And when you have a great family like we have, it makes it a lot easier to do what we've done. Obviously, you have to have a lot of things shake your way, right? You have to have the right side of the bracket. You have to have the right plays in your book. And you got to work hard to make it happen. But we have a really good group of not only players but staff who are working just as hard as we have every other season that we've made it, and all the seasons that we haven't. Right, so we just keep grinding, keep doing our thing, and we'll take it as far as the SFL world lets us take it each time.
Awesome. Now, you guys put up a big showing against Birmingham.
Yeah.
62, man. Like y'all couldn't throw in the towel. Y'all could have just been like, let's just kick field goals. What do you think led to such a successful? It's almost like you had a perfect book, man. Tell me a little bit about that game for you. Like, what was your mindset then?
I think this will sound like a very boring answer, but we just do the same thing every week, right? We're not trying to do anything other than play the best game we can against the opponent that's in front of us and put the best book on paper. And sometimes you end up with 62 points. Sometimes you end up with 14, right? This league is so difficult to coach in. It's so difficult to win games. And so, you take each game that you win as a blessing and each game you lose as a lesson. And, each time that you go out on the field, you try and do the same thing. So we're trying to, 62 was great. I wish I could have scored 7 more, for a really nice game. But I think for us, we're always just trying to do as good as we can. And, 62 is wonderful, but, we're just trying to win by 1 point each time. I don't care how we get there, just to win.
Awesome, man. So, what do you think the secret to your success has been this season?
Oh, great question. Our staff, I think, is really superb. I think Mark Lopez does an incredible job. He actually, this season, scarily enough, had an eye surgery in the middle of the season, which severely limited his ability to sit in front of a computer, right? Which is what we do, right? So, he's really been a grinder for us this season to get back in the chair and to work hard despite his physical ailments to make this kind of happen. And he's a rock star, right? I mean, there's no one better in the league at coaching and at being, a numbers master, both in the stats room, but also, working our cap and our player progressions. So, Mark has really been one of our kind of secret weapons over the last, 7, 8 seasons, however long he's been here. It's probably been 15 by now. And we're really lucky to have him. And this season, he was down for the count. There were a couple games where I had to kind of lead both sides of the ball on my own and mixed results there. But, when he's been back in the seat, it's just been a blessing for us to have him and the rest of our staff, Bear and Brett Killian. We really just have an all-star group.
You do. Last question to you tonight. What do you think it will take for Vancouver to win their second title over the Detroit Maulers that seem to be number 1 in all categories this season?
Yeah, they're a very good team. I think we tip our cap to them and say that they've had a great season the same way that we have, right? You can't reach this game without having a great season. We're going to go out and play Vancouver Legion football, right? We've been in this game 2 years in a row. This is our 3rd game in a row. Mixed results, right? 1 win, 1 loss. But either way, we played Vancouver Legion football. We put our brand on the table. In the first season that we were here, in season 24, it wasn't good enough. We needed a little bit more to beat Mexico City that year. And then last year, as evident by the shirt, we were able to pull it off and played our brand of football. But in reality, our game plan, our work was no different. It was just trying to put the best version of football, the best playbook we could out there. And we're going to do the same thing tonight against Detroit. And we're looking forward to seeing how it kind of all shakes out at the end of it.
Well, I can't wait. The eternal frost is coming, people. We're going to see how it shakes out. See you on the field.
It's been here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Ashley. Appreciate you doing those interviews. It was great to hear from the players,
Definitely.
the coaches, and the owners. Really fantastic all around. We did have a $5 super chat while that was all going on. $5 super chat from Deli. Smash that like button, y'all. Another great SFL season with everyone here. Cheers, y'all. Appreciate the support and glad to have everyone here. So we've got just 11 minutes until this game gets rolling. So let's do what we usually do. Let's break this down, right? We're down to the final two, the top two, in fact. You got number 1 Detroit versus number 2 Vancouver. Each team has now played 14 games to get to this point. 28 combined games, only 6 losses between both of them combined. Vancouver are defending champs. They made it to their 3rd straight championship game. Strong start to the season, but like I talked about earlier, that stretch in the middle, 5 games where they went 2-3 before they won 5 of their final 6 to make it back to the championship game yet again. And how about Detroit? It's nearly impossible to be a doubter of Detroit at this point, even for you. They're like the mascot, self-proclaimed. I guess you were dubbed the mascot. Listen, their losses this entire season: a 1-score loss to the South Division champion and fellow semifinal team Birmingham Hellhounds, and a fluke 3-point loss to Miami where Ethan Flowers decided he would throw 85 picks.
And that's exactly what he did. That's why they lost.
Give or take. Yeah. So that's it. That's it. They've only lost 2 games by 1 score each, a grand total of 10 points. Otherwise, they've beaten teams like Minnesota, Arizona, Houston, D.C., Mexico City, among many others. This is one last test for them before they can achieve the ultimate goal, the SFL championship victory, and get their team name etched onto the SFL trophy. Do they have what it takes, or will Vancouver go on to win their 2nd straight title?
And I'm going to start out with Vancouver, right? The Legion looked really, really impressive last week with that 62-10 win over Birmingham. Their offense was extremely efficient behind the stellar play from the entire offense, right? Usually it's only one side of it doing it, and we're going to get into it here in just a little bit. Vancouver scored 8 offensive touchdowns last week and nearly 500 yards of offense. They ran for over 260 yards with Wells, Lloyd, Doyle, and even wide receiver Brett Killian got in there, and 6 touchdowns for those by Lloyd, who ran it in and did all kind of good things. Look, and I questioned the play of quarterback Christian Brown, but he stepped up really big and had 71% completions. I even got called out by him in Gen Chat or the game or something. He tagged me, whatever else. Look, he only had 5 missed passes last week, right? 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and did not get sacked. Very good play from that offensive line as well. And he proved me completely wrong last week, saying that I don't know if he has what it takes to do it, but he did it last week. The way they played offense last week, Mike, they looked unstoppable, and they looked just like the team we saw last season.
They sure
and
have.
They're a really dangerous offense.
Their defenses look scary good as well. I know, and you and I talking offline, you've kind of slept on this defense the entire season, and then last week they're like, yeah, watch this.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, hold my beer, because look, this is what we can do. They held the number 1 offense, who averaged nearly 400 yards per game. Like I said, the number 1 offense in the SFL to only 206 yards of total offense last week. And they only allowed 57 rush yards from a Birmingham running team who averages nearly triple that per game. So look, and they also forced 3 turnovers from one of the most efficient quarterback in the SFL, who has only thrown 11 interceptions all season long, which is the least in the SFL. They picked him off 3 times, which is about, like a quarter of what he had thrown all season long.
Yeah.
They outmatched their opponent at every single level, Mike. And going into the playoffs, I did not think Vancouver had what it took to get to the championship.
I didn't either.
But they turned it up. They turned up the volume. They understood the assignment. They went there to execute it at the highest level last week. And for me, key players for them: Christian Brown, stay mistake-free, much like he did last week. The run game, keep control of the game. They did it last week with all those rushing yards they had, and defense. It was perfection, in my opinion, last week on how they played. If they do that again, they might have their 2nd straight championship.
They might. Let's get into Detroit. Robert Henson just talked about in his interview about how nobody expected them to be here. You know, everybody expected Vancouver and Mexico City make it all the way back. Mexico City almost did, but Detroit, let's hear from their biggest doubter all season long. Here they are.
And here we are, Mike. Like, I doubted them from the jump, and I never believed in this team for them to consistently do the things that they have consistently done. And what they have done consistent was win games and continuously tell me you have no idea what you're talking about. You're best suited as the mascot, which they'd already made me. Despite me being a 2-time award-winning analyst, I don't know what I'm talking about, and they proved it, right? So they came to play last week, Mike, and they made a statement win by beating the Aztecs last week, right?
Yep.
And they proved that they are definitely a top team.
They were number one for a reason.
Exactly. And Ethan Flowers, right, who has thrown 99,000 interceptions
give or take
on the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually 28, but it seemed like way more than that in the SFL, which is it's like the worst in the SFL. Had a clean game, Mike. He threw for over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks.
No picks.
That was extremely important, which is good because that's how they won that game. You seen how close it was.
It was not good at all.
And Rob Hunt, right? The wide receiver Rob Hunt, he only had 3 catches. All of them were really huge. He had 90 yards on the day. 2 of those catches went for touchdowns. Rashawn Williams, you already talked about him, had a solid game, over 100.
Got over 100. Very few rushers got over
100 rushing yards and a touchdown, right? It was the most complete performance I have seen from Detroit in an extremely long while. When you do this, I become a believer in what you can do. And guess what? They made a believer out of me last week with the way they played.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Obviously, I've been picking them all season long. I only didn't pick them one week, and they won that week too. I picked Pittsburgh for some reason. You must have gotten into my head. I don't even know what that pick was about. I'm sorry, Detroit, for not picking you that week. I have believed in them. I believed in them last week too. I just really wanted them to lose. But Ethan Flowers, like you said, pick free, and Jordan Sipe, he was not pick free. That was really the difference. It was a 7-point ball game. The Aztecs had the ball to tie it up with the final possession, and they picked it off. So, that's the difference, those bonus possessions and key turnovers. And why don't you talk about that defense, because they were a huge reason why they beat us.
Yeah, and they have been among the league's best defenses all season long, and they proved it last week, right? Mexico City held to only 26 yards rushing.
Yeah, it was bad.
Forced 3 turnovers, right? A lot of them in key moments, Mike, and you know that. And they also sacked the quarterback 5 times. They got a sack from all 3 levels of their defense. Had at least 1 sack right there, right? So the defensive front dominated the line of scrimmage and forced you guys into a lot of those mistakes and everything else. And tonight, for them to be successful, they will have to slow down the passing attack of Vancouver.
They've got to pick off Brown.
Which they didn't quite do it last week. I know you guys went into, because you guys threw for 400 yards, something like that. They did it by picking the ball up. Now, if they don't get those turnovers, what may happen? But like I said, those 3 turnovers killed those drives. And for me, they're key players. The front 4, Matthews, Laggins, Parent, and Cherry. They need to dominate up front and control the line of scrimmage. If you don't, it might be a very long day. Williams and Gibson at the running back positions must play really, really good. Ethan Flowers played great last week. But against a team like Vancouver, he's going to have to be a lot better than that as well. You want to know why? Because those running backs can get him in a situation to be successful. So I think it comes down to the running backs being successful and running the ball for Flowers to be successful.
Agreed. It's going to be one heck of a ball game. Looking forward to it. It's time to make our final pick of the season. I'm 65-37 on the season in picks. You were 56-46. You were barely over 50%.
That was bad.
We both went 0-2 last week, so clearly we have no idea what we're talking about. But we are going to make one final pick. Vancouver at Detroit. Who do you got?
Both these teams changed my perception of them, just overnight by the way that they played. But Detroit, there's something special about what they're doing, and they've been doing it all season. I've doubted them. I tried to break their will, but it's like, nope, you're not. We're going to show you. They made cardboard cutouts. I turned into a mascot and everything else. Go Detroit. I think Detroit's going to take this game in a 3-point ball game.
3-point ball game. Wow. All right. I'm also going to pick Detroit in this one. Why? because like I said, I picked them all season long. They're the reason that I'm beating you in the picks. I only didn't pick them 1 week, and I was wrong. Detroit, I think, just has what it takes. They showed it last week. They played absolutely phenomenal against the Aztecs. They've played absolutely phenomenal against all of their opponents all season long. Henson's not happy with your pick. He says that they're screwed now because you picked them. Henson, I'm picking you guys too. I also think it's going to be a one-score game. I'm going to give Detroit the edge by 7. So, that's it. Detroit for both of us. We'll see how it ends up playing out. But we are inside 1 minute to go until kickoff. But good news. Good news. Maybe. I think it's good news. You might not.
It's great news.
We're going to be back at halftime to break down the first half of action. We're going to give you the Season 26 award winners. We're going to set you up for the second half. And then we're going to be back for the post-game show as well. So don't worry. You're not done seeing us yet. Unless you want to be, in which case mute halftime. But this has been the Season 26 Championship pregame show. Looking forward to seeing you all at the half. Enjoy the game. Get ready. The championship game starts right now. Welcome to Zolnir Championship Field in Denver, Colorado for the season 26 SFL Championship game between the defending champion Vancouver Legion and the Detroit Maulers, the number 1 seed in the SFL in season 26. Alongside Eddie Gage and Ron Haynes in the stats truck, Charles Doherty and Cameron Irvine here with you tonight. We've got an excellent matchup. Obviously, Vancouver trying to do what many have done before by going back-to-back, and Detroit trying to win their first championship in franchise history.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. I mean, two very successful teams, loaded top to bottom. They got here in a different fashion. And it looks like Vancouver likes to keep it down to a manageable amount of formations, but execute it perfectly. While Detroit likes to, they like to use a lot more. Let's just say that. So this is going to be an interesting game. I think, the worst thing to happen is one of these teams to over scheme. Expecting a significant change from one team to the other. I know we're going to see some wrinkles. I think the team that throws too many in might be at a loss here. I think it's going to be a close game, kind of like the guys said in the pregame. I'm thinking a field goal, maybe 10-point.
We're ready to go. Intermittent clouds, 70 degrees, beautiful night. Feels like 67 here in Denver. The ball's on the tee and the hands in the air and kick it. We are underway in the season 26 SFL Championship from the goal line. Vancouver on the return up to the 25. That's where Christian Brown will start with the football in his 11th season of SFL action.
Yeah, last week Brown, well, not just Brown, the entire Legion squad out there had a great game, but he didn't throw an interception at all, about 70% completion. He was just anything he wanted to do. He could put the ball wherever he wanted to, executed crisply, didn't let the defense rattle him at all, and I know Vancouver's hoping to see more of that tonight.
The guys that have been here before and many who have not on the Detroit side, who's going to get it tonight as Christian Brown will start under center. He will throw deep down the middle. That is incomplete. Looked like he was looking for Nick Lockett, the silent assassin, over the middle. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, Nick Lockett. It's good to get him involved early. Normally when you and I do games, Cam, Nick's kind of sneaks into the late half, second half, and starts making an impact, but it's good to see them getting touches to him early.
Empty now on 2nd and 10 for Vancouver. 2-by-2 look from the left hash. Christian Brown drops to throw. He's got one-on-one coverage. That pass is caught at the 46-yard line. That is D'Angelo Lopez with his first grab in the championship. Vancouver first down.
And that was a beautiful pass by Brown over the outstretched hands. It looked like King Rashid was covering on that one. Looked like he was trying to get a pass deflection there, but just perfect accuracy by Brown.
Thomas Matthews, Frodo Lagan, Sean Parent, Robert Cherry up front. Jack Brown, Casper Haddock, Matthias Citrion at linebacker. J.W. Hartshorn, King Rashid, Remnar Sudi, Chris Delro, King Jamal, and Jubilee Marsh in the secondary. That's just a 2-yard gain and a tackle by Marsh. Good start for Detroit's run defense.
Yeah, I'm going to be saying this when Detroit's out there, but this offensive line is one of the best, if not the best in the league, going up against a stout defensive line in the Maulers, all top rated and ranked at their positions.
2nd and 8, Detroit's defense shifting all over the place. They're going to bring some pressure, and wide open down the field. It's Vancouver's Bear down to the 8-yard line. That is Ezekiel Bear's first grab, and Detroit got a little risky, and they lost the biscuit.
Yeah, got a little aggressive there. It just did a fly route to the sideline, got ahead of the defender. I mean, that in a championship game, you can't leave a wide receiver that open.
That one goes for 44. Lopez's went for 21, and Vancouver's got a 1st and goal at the 8.5-yard line. Mike O'Neill and the boys in the studio broke this down for you earlier in pregame. They love this heavy formation inside the 10. Brown's going to throw. Wide open, touchdown! Vancouver with the score. D'Angelo Lopez with the catch, and Vancouver scores a touchdown on their opening drive.
It's like Brown never left the stadium. I mean, from last game, he's passing on fire. Accurate passes. Not too bad coverage on that one. Maybe a second behind, but man, Brown is just showing us why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
So Vancouver right away in a minute and 24 seconds gets down the field and scores. Chance to win with the extra point, and it's 7-0 Vancouver. And if you're the Detroit Maulers, who
some would say, oh, they're playing with house money, or hey, they're just happy to be here because they were the surprise team of the season. You got to be feeling like, whoa, I think the volume level got turned up to 100 on this one.
Well, Vancouver's been here a couple times. They've won a couple, lost a couple, and Detroit's first time here. So, there may be some nerves here on this first series. So I think a big indication here is how the offense responds after that last series, Vancouver. The perfect series by Vancouver.
Detroit on the return up to the 24-yard line. That's Jimmy Wint. We're going to have to watch out for him today, and for good reason. But I think everyone on the Vancouver defense is saying, we got to stop Rashawn Williams, and if we do that, we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, he leader in carries, leader in touchdowns. He for their team, a lot of focus for Williams. You can't forget Henson as well. I mean, if they can keep those two players at check, we're looking at a potential bad game for Detroit.
At the 24-yard line, Ethan Flowers, when he's hot, he's hot. When he's not, he's not. That's been the story of his season. He's going to send Robert Henson Jr. in motion. Down to 8 on the play clock. They've got 3 receivers out in the pattern. This is going to be a handoff up the middle, breaking a tackle, but only picking up 1 yard. That is Williams' first carry, and a good start for the Vancouver defense. Kenneth Gaston Jr., the former Mauler, makes the tackle.
Yep. The Vancouver Legion gets very creative on defense, and they had to last week and this week. They're down to defensive linemen. I believe they're moving DJ Woods up there to fill the role of the defensive end, and that's a big assignment for Woods, but he can execute.
Draw, broken tackle to the 31. That gets a little more. That's 6 yards for Williams. That was Gibson on that first carry for Detroit. So Williams gets 6 on his first, 3rd down and 3. Detroit, maybe in an opposite style of Vancouver, wants to slow things down.
Yeah, seen a lot of power running here. We're probably going to see much the same on this 3rd and 3.
9 in the box. They do it anyway, and Gibson's not going to get there. 3 and out. Vancouver ready for it. And how about Gaston Jr. on his first series against his former team? First time playing his former team since signing with Vancouver in the offseason. Makes a couple of stops and forces a 3 and out.
Yeah, big time stop by Gaston. He's got to be, up in the clouds after the way he played that first series.
So the punt is away from Detroit. That's Melon Thales as Vancouver on the punt return down the sideline. There go the defending champs. BK12, and Vancouver could not have asked for a better start to the season 26 championship game.
Detroit is on their heels, Cam. I mean, Vancouver came out swinging, doing roundhouses, uppercuts, jabs, everything. They're all hitting, and Detroit is looks like they need to sit on a stool and get some water and a towel.
And for Brett Killian, that is career punt return touchdown number 1 for him in the biggest of spots, in the biggest of moments. Sometimes the drama just writes itself.
Yeah, Killian can be used. They've used him as a tight end. They've used him out of the backfield. They use him on special teams. Obviously a wide receiver. He does everything he's asked, and he executes.
Well, Vancouver has had the ball for 6 plays, and they have 2 touchdowns. Wow. 14-0 with 7:01 to go in the first quarter. A shocker for sure against the 12-2 Detroit Maulers, who have just 2 losses by a combined 10 points this season. Wint returns it up to the 30. You were looking at the numbers in pregame, and you said Jimmy Wint is a guy that needs to get the ball more.
Yeah, the reason why, Cam, is when you throw it to him, he's got a 71% success rate in bringing it in. That's better than any player on the field. Doesn't get a lot of he's right in the middle of the pack when it comes to targets. But, man, you got to get him more involved because he doesn't make mistakes. He's a solid route runner, and like I said, when they throw it in his zip code, it normally gets stuck in his mitts.
So now 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. They went 3 straight runs to start the opening possession. Detroit will hand the ball off again. That is a pickup of 2. That's Gaston Jr. again on the stop. It's almost like Vancouver wanted to put him in the positions to succeed tonight.
Oh, yeah, and the linebacking core of Vancouver, they're just so smart, so disciplined, and built so well to either rush, cover, whatever you ask them to do.
Flowers' first pass in a championship game. He will fire. He's got an open man, but it is knocked away. An excellent hit by Ron Hoff, who was highlighted in pregame as well. 3rd and 8.
I tell you, it's the farther Ron Hoff gets away from the quarterback, the better he gets. when he's in that deep stance, 20, 25 yards off the field, he just plays it like a great white shark looking for a victim.
3rd down, 8 for Detroit. 2 backs and 2 receivers in an empty backfield for Flowers. Flowers dropping a throw, fires short, 1 yard short of the marker. There's Wint again, but he stumbled out of his break. Lister was in the vicinity, and Detroit will come up short again.
Yeah, I mean, 2 series, walking away with nothing. Every time Vancouver touches the ball in their series, they put points up. Something's got to be done. Detroit's got to correct course, whatever. They cannot let this get out of hand.
From the 16-yard line, again, Killian on the return up to the 25-yard line. And that'll set up Vancouver with a first down. Christian Brown, 3 of 4 for 73 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions so far. By the way, Brett Killian only 6 punt returns all regular season. He's got 2 in the first quarter.
Unbelievable. What if you're going to step up, now's the time to do it. Holy smokes.
Well, and that's one of the, we were talking about it at pregame, Charles, is what's your plan E, right? What's something that they may not be expecting? And I don't think anyone was expecting Killian to be back there returning punts, let alone actually get a punt return touchdown on his first try. Oh, Detroit just sent everybody, and Vancouver is just rolling. Nothing is going right for the Maulers, and it's another Vancouver touchdown.
Is that roughing the passer?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, oh, my God. Wide open. Again, it looks like they sent all of their players and, everyone on the sidelines trying to go get Brown, and he just saw the open player wide open. That was a Christmas gift.
It's called on the Hall of Famer, Jack Brown, and I mean, you want to talk about a nightmare. Now, the good thing for Detroit is that it's so early that they don't necessarily have to panic. But I mean, what a disaster! You can't script it any more poorly for the Maulers at this point.
I am speechless, and you rarely catch me speechless. They just came out again. Vancouver came out on fire, and Detroit, like I said right before. They need to do something to slow Vancouver down on both sides of the ball.
It's the first time these two teams have met since the team relocated to Detroit in season 25, as Wint has to take a knee on this one. The two met in the season 20 wild card round back when Detroit was Indianapolis. That was the only other time this franchise made the postseason. They beat Mexico City in the semifinals. They topped Minnesota in the quarterfinals, and here they are. Deer in the headlights right now in the first few minutes of this game. They'll hand it off to Rashawn Williams, and Williams will pick up 4. They are in desperate need to give their defense a break on this offensive series.
Yeah, we talked about wrinkles. I mean, one of the things we don't see a lot out of from Detroit is passing to the backside of the backfield. That would definitely be something that I don't think Vancouver would be expecting.
2nd down and 6, 5:20 to go in the first. That pass is off the hands of the intended receiver. That was C.J. Parrish, and we've seen 2 passes go in Ron Hoff's direction, and neither receiver's been able to come up with it.
Because, Hoff, his closing speed is incredible. But it looks like the defense for Vancouver is just, at a higher speed than what we're seeing out of Detroit.
3rd and 6, bunch to the right for Detroit. They got to get a first down here. Got to get some kind of momentum. Flowers over the middle, caught. Parrish first down, and Detroit moves the sticks, and a wipe of the brow from Detroit's coaching staff.
I think, everyone on the sidelines, everyone in the stands just did a collective sigh, a breath, whatever, just to slow this down. Now they got a first down. They got something to build on here.
What Vancouver's done in the first 5 minutes of this game, we've never seen in a championship.
Never.
I mean, it is just you want to talk about rolling snake eyes about 10 straight times at the craps table as the handoff goes to Williams, picking up 3. Did I use that analogy correctly? I am not a gambler.
I am not either. I just thought you knew what you were talking about.
No idea. I'm just being honest.
I was like, wow, he's a gambler.
No, definitely not. By the way, John Michael Sudduth on that touchdown. That was a 75-yard score, and that's the second or the third different weapon for Vancouver to score. Wow, Gibson is just clobbered in the backfield as Vancouver is selling out for this run.
Yeah, did you see how much they loaded it at the top of the screen? They knew where the ball was going and just destroyed any chance of blocking.
21-0, 3rd down and 9, 4:06 to go in the first. This is Flowers dropping a throw into double coverage, incomplete. And that's the end of the Detroit drive. That's Mark Lopez knocking the football out of the hands of Jimmy Wint, and Detroit will have to punt.
We saw a couple good things on that series out of Detroit, but again, I think they agree they need to get some improvements here. It's a sustained drive, walk away with at least 3.
So Thales, who might be a little busy today, punts the football away. From the 20, Killian on his 3rd return of the game, breaks off a couple tackles. Killian is still on his feet as he gets to the 28-yard line.
So if you said by the end of the first quarter, one of these quarterbacks would be 4 or 5 for 80% and 2 touchdowns, I go, wow, that team is playing unbelievable, and that's what Brown's doing.
150 yards, on pace for 6 Bills for Vancouver in the opening stanza. They're averaging 25 yards a play, Charles, which is about probably the longest. That's the highest number our stat machine goes. I don't think it can get any higher, as they'll start from the 28-yard line here. Detroit in desperate need of a stop, a turnover, some sort of momentum, as we've got a 3-by-1 look here for the Legion off the right hash mark. The handoff up the middle is only going to pick up a couple yards, as that's Frodo Laggins with the tackle. Devin Lloyd was the man with the carry. $10 super chat from Jesse Fretz. You did it, Cam. If you roll snake eyes betting on the shooter over and over, you'll eventually add more concrete to the casino towers. So I guess I did something right there. Pickup of 2 yards. We appreciate.
That was cryptic. I didn't know what that meant.
Well, I don't know either, but I'm not going to ask any questions.
That was
I'm just going to thank Jesse for his support all season long.
You're exactly right, Jesse.
3rd down and 6 after the toss to the outside. So this is Detroit's opportunity to get off the field, as Christian Brown is rolling to his right, looking for someone to get open, finally fires down the field. It's incomplete, no PI, and there's your first Detroit stop of the day. That's got to feel good for the Maulers as they try to settle in.
It's a small win, but man, they need something. Stop that drive. On that particular series, what we saw was good coverage downfield, just enough pressure on that offensive line to make Brown make some adjustments in his backfield.
3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Detroit on the return, not much there, up to the 33-yard line. Flowers has started 2 of 5 for 25 yards, but his receivers aren't helping him out much either.
Yeah, not at all. And, I think they need to mix it up a little bit. I think they're waiting for Williams to get the ball, and they're stacking it up. You got to make them pay for it. Maybe a play action, roll out, something.
2:57 left in the first quarter. 21-0 as Vancouver erupts to a 3-touchdown lead in the championship game. Jimmy Wint goes in motion. The handoff up the middle to Rashawn Williams, and I think we've got the answer to our question of whether or not they're going to stop him tonight or not, because Williams so far just 17 yards on 5 carries.
Yeah, what we've seen is a lot of runs, in the A gap up the middle. They need to mix it up a little bit.
2:35 remaining. Flowers going to drop to throw. Flowers now rolling to his left. He finds Wint short, and that picks up a few. So 3rd down and 3. Flowers kept the play alive nicely.
Yeah, nice. And Wint, like we said, he's money when you throw it to him. I don't think he's dropped one yet tonight.
So 3rd down and 3. They're going to have Williams and Brad Taylor Wright in the backfield. $1.99 super chat from Andy Hamilton donating to so Charles gets to read bingo numbers as Flowers drops to throw. He's going to take off and run. He's got the 1st down. No bingo tonight. Sorry, Andy. We're trying to.
I can just say random number.
Now that's a cruel joke. People are going to be scrambling looking for their cards, and they're not going to have the numbers.
I would lose that one too, even if I got to pick the numbers.
I can see that too. You were just one number away, Charles.
Wait, it's not vertical?
1:45 left in the first. Detroit's got a 1st down off the Flowers scramble. A handoff goes to Williams running left, and there is the Rashawn Williams we know and love. He's going to get close to. In fact, they're going to give him a 1st down on that second effort.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was close, but yeah, nice blocking on the edge there. And we need to see more of that. Don't give up on the runs up the middle, but man, I think they're really effective when they're very good at setting that edge for Williams to get big gains.
And I think that was actually a good spot. He actually landed on the defender and inched closer about another half a yard. So Detroit does get the 1st down on the Williams run to the Vancouver 43-yard line. They'll hand it off to Andrew Gibson, and Gibson will get a yard on 1st down. They've been all over that run up the middle on 1st.
Now that one I don't think was a good. I mean, that was more than a yard. I think it looked like 3, maybe 4, whatever.
We're happy to have all of you here for the SFL championship game. We've got 122 watching right now, and hoping, at least if you're a neutral party, that Detroit can come up with something on this drive to make the game more competitive to start. Gibson with a nice carry, 3rd and 3 coming up.
Yeah, so far so good on this series. Good running execution. And a couple decent passes. This is a huge play for them.
3rd down, 3. 9 in the box for Vancouver. They are not shy. Williams has the first down to the 32-yard line, and I tell you what, both teams playing with fire a little bit in these 3rd and short situations.
And on that series, the offensive line looked to me like they're starting to settle in a little bit and get starting to show their way around on the field from a blocking standpoint.
Final play of the first quarter. Detroit toss to Gibson, and he is dropped for a loss of a yard. That's just the second negative play of the first quarter. Both have been by Detroit's offense. End of a shocking first quarter as Vancouver is all over Detroit, 21-0, but the Maulers are driving, trying to find some momentum in the biggest spots here on the Virtual Football Network. Along with Eddie Gage, Ron Haynes, Charles Doherty, and Cameron Irvine, we are here in Denver, Colorado, just a couple of months away from the 2026 SFL convention, and our next 2 championships are here as well, as Detroit, the designated home team, gives it off to Gibson and picks up their yard back. Gaston Jr. now leads the way with 6 total tackles and a TFL, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 10.
I'm curious to see what Vancouver lines up with on defense. We saw a lot of man coverage with cover 1, cover 2 deep. And it looks like we're seeing maybe a little bit of that right now on this play.
Be a 48-yard field goal from here. Cannot take a sack. Flowers spins away, takes off, and gets the first down to the 19-yard line. How about Ethan Flowers with a couple of monster runs on 3rd down in this one?
Monster runs is right. Normally we see Brown doing those kind of runs. When Flowers does run with the ball, he gets a couple yards, here and there on those short yardage plays. But on that one, man, he went, tried to get to the barn on that one, not far enough, but man, it was a huge play.
First down at the 19-yard line of Vancouver. Detroit methodically getting down the field, trying to get that goose egg off the board. Flowers under center. He's going to send a man in motion across the formation. That's Rob Hunt, who's been targeted once with no catches so far. Wentz got 2 for 14, leading the receiving core, but they know play action. Flowers first down, incomplete. As Hunt went up to go get it, he is smacked in the midsection and brings up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, discipline on that Vancouver side. Didn't fall for that play action. Stuck like glue to their to the offensive players, the wide receivers going deep, and didn't get anything.
So 2nd and 10 now, empty 5 wide for Detroit. 4 down linemen, and they're going to bring it 1 extra. Whoa, that looked like PI not called. Wow, that is a shocking no call right there.
Very aggressive. The defense, the secondary in particular for Vancouver, has been very aggressive tonight.
Eddie in our stats truck, the great DB himself, says that was clean. So there you have it from Mr. Gage in the stat truck. 3rd down and 10 for Detroit now. This would be a 38 or 36-yard field goal from here, but they don't want field goals. They want touchdowns. Gordo Khan in motion at tight end for Detroit. Flowers dropping a throw, 3rd and 10, rolling to his right, fires in zone, incomplete. And Vancouver's defense stands tall. Tyler Highfield with the deflection. It was Khan, the intended target.
Yeah, Khan was going right into, it looked like 2, maybe 3 defenders. Had to have a very accurate throw, but man.
Wow, he almost had it too.
He was waiting to get lit up by the defender.
That was a 14-play drive, but only for 48 yards. So it took a lot of work to get down here and try to get this field goal. It's a 36-yard kick for Scylla Aldmere. And to get Detroit on the board, swinging left. It is good. Oh, boy.
They needed that.
We'll have to watch that throughout the day. But Detroit does get some points on the board to settle the troops, 21-3.
The goose has left the building with its egg.
And that egg almost fell out of the nest right there.
Wow.
That was close. 21-3. Detroit gets a field goal on the board and a little bit of momentum back. And Vancouver will start on their 20-yard line. So far on the ground, just 2 yards on 1 carry for Jalen Wells. They stopped the toss pretty good. 2 yards on 4 yards on 2 carries for Devin Lloyd. They've been good in the middle as well. Just 4 major passes from
Right.
Christian Brown down the
4
field.
passes and 3 run attempts compared to 11 rushes on the other side.
This is Brown on a 1st and 10. He's going to dump that off into the flat. That's Killian out of the backfield. They're using him as the Swiss Army knife of today's game, picking up 9 yards.
Yeah, we saw that last week as well. Lined him up as the halfback in, looked like, I think that was the Jacks formation. And seen a little bit there on that play.
2nd down 1. Another heavy set here for Vancouver. Just trying to pick up the 1st down. And they will not do so. That is a tremendous job by Robert Cherry up front, 3rd and inches.
It looked like hesitation to me by the running back. Should have just stuck to the run route, and you could have powered up a 1st down.
3rd down and inches. I formation. And the fullback gets the handoff and picks up the 1st. Devin Lloyd lined up at the fullback position, picks up the 1st down.
I mean, you got to double check. I mean, that could have been Ron Hoff running out of the backfield the way Vancouver coaches.
You never know. You never. I mean, it's so creative, but you know what? That's what it takes to win championships around here. And Vancouver's trying to do that back-to-back. Mexico City did it back-to-back. Florida did it back-to-back. Baltimore did it back-to-back. It's just kind of a thing here in the SFL. As that pass is complete to the 49-yard line. Bear with another catch and a 1st down.
I believe that was a wheel play, maybe. I don't know. Run straight to the sideline, stop, and then go upfield. Unbelievable. They caught him. Look at that set. The defender just let him run by.
Yeah, King Rashid didn't know what to do there. $5 super chat from Sully. Somewhere in OKC, Goose's ears are burning from our Goose conversation earlier. I haven't made a mistake yet, though, so I don't. That's why he hasn't appeared. Christian Brown dropping to throw. That pass is caught. One-hander at the 31-yard line. That is Killian again for a Vancouver 1st down, and just like that, they're in scoring position.
Yeah, I mean, after that last series where it looked like they were slowing down a lot, they came back out here and didn't miss a beat. I mean, this drive is really looking scary for Detroit.
192 passing yards so far for Vancouver's offense. The pass defense for Detroit gives up 187 per game. That's best in the SFL, and they've already given up more than that here in the 1st half.
I mean, it's not over. You know, Detroit has made big plays on their defensive side. They just need a little bit more tonight.
6:08 to go in the 1st half. Detroit desperate for a turnover here. Heavy look. This is Killian on the carry, picking up 5 as Vancouver dances with fate.
I think maybe, him getting those runs out of the backfield maybe toughened him up a bit for those punt returns.
Maybe so. Maybe so. They're putting one of the best players in SFL history, in a position to win his 2nd championship tonight. 3rd and 5, shotgun here for Christian Brown at the Detroit 25-yard line. This is Brown dropping to throw. Brown with some pressure on the outside. Tried to get away and is sacked. That's going to make a much more difficult field goal. Jack Brown with the takedown.
Good play by Detroit there. They needed something, and the magic came with good rushing up front and made Brown, had to make too many decisions and not enough time. Just brought him down, and now they're hoping for a missed field goal.
This could be a little bit of a problem. I think the wind would be blowing right, since the other way was blowing left, and they're on the right hash mark for a chance to win. Let's see what happens here. 46-yard field goal attempt for to win. That wind is blowing to the right, but he snakes it inside the upright. That is good, and Vancouver erases Detroit's field goal drive with one of their own.
I mean, that was a 46-yard kick, correct?
Yep.
Wow. That's difficult to do in that type of wind.
He crushed it, too. So, 5:03 to go in the 1st half. I guess for Detroit, it hasn't gotten worse. It just hasn't gotten better yet.
They managed to stop some of the bleeding. They're on the board. They're still down by 3 scores, but a lot of game left.
Mahler's on the kick return, and they have struggled to get decent field position. This time it was Jamar Shelton on the return up to the 20-yard line. Flowers is 3 of 9 for 30 yards. Rashawn Williams, 32 yards on 7 carries, leads all skill players. for Detroit here in the first half at the 20-yard line, sidecar right. For, I believe, Williams out there will send Parrish in motion. 3 receivers all to the far side right for Flowers. He's going to hand the ball off up the middle. That's Williams pummeling defenders for a pickup of 6 yards to set up a 2nd down and 4.
Now, it looks like Williams is, starting to get into his groove, rushing the ball. I think what Detroit needs is Flowers is going to have to dig deep. And, his performance so far is not what he wanted. I don't think his coaches wanted. We're going to need to see a little bit more out of him.
2nd down, 4 to go. I formation here for Flowers. 6 on the line for Vancouver, and Gibson manages to get a 1st down. Detroit's strategy to slow Vancouver's explosivity, keep them off the field, that, in theory, works, but not if you're down 21-0 in the first 5 minutes of the game. That's a nightmare scenario for Detroit. 1st and 10, 4:08 to go in the first half. Flowers is going to go empty, straight back, fire it, and it's caught at the 43-yard line. A one-hand stab from Robert Henson Jr., his first catch.
That was like a mirror image catch like Killian made on that last series. One-handed in the middle, under pressure. We asked Flowers to dig deep, and he did on that play, delivering a pass where only the receiver could catch it.
I gotta give Detroit some props for Stones going with a straight drop back against Vancouver's defensive front is a bold move.
That was my high school garage band.
What exactly?
What did you say? Rock Stones?
About Stones. I don't know. I have a sneaky suspicion that you did not play in a high school band, Charles, as Williams picks up 6.
Never really know.
What instrument did you play, Charles?
I played harmonica.
It was one of those bands.
What kind of bands?
Third place in the talent show kind of band?
No, we didn't do that. It's beneath the talent show.
2nd down and 4.
Battle of the band, man.
3:12. There you go. Rock on. 3:10 to go in the first half for Detroit at midfield. Flowers dropping a pass. Wide open down the sideline. Henson is tackled from behind at the 31-yard line. And boy, as we get another look at it, I think that might have been Ron Hoff saving the touchdown. How did Henson get so wide open?
And we talked about Williams being a linchpin on offense. So is Henson. You got to give him the ball. Great route runner, able to get separate for a tight end, able to get that type of separation from a cornerback.
Hoff does save the touchdown, his 2nd tackle. Russell's got 5, Gaston's got 6 to lead the defense. 1st and 10 with 2:40 to go. The handoff to Williams, pushing forward to the 24-yard line. And quite honestly, Charles, if Detroit takes all the time off this first half clock and scores a touchdown, that would be ideal for them.
That would be a huge victory for them. I mean, only down by 2 scores going in. At the way they started, that's a good bounce back, putting 10 on the board.
Updated numbers here as Detroit starts to creep up. Vancouver's still averaging 10.8 yards per play in the first half, but that's the Maulers' 10th first down a couple plays ago, up to 144 yards. And wow, Ethan Flowers on a QB sneak. What was that, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3? That did not work.
That was, he got lit up.
Ouch. 3rd down and 2. Williams is in the backfield with Brad Taylor right, but we've hit the 2-minute warning. Another 3rd and short situation for Detroit. Will they be able to convert this one? You're watching the Season 26 SFL Championship right here on the Virtual Football Network. Detroit is 5 of 8 on 3rd downs in this game, and Vancouver only has 5 first downs. So they've had 5 3rd down conversions to Vancouver's just 5 first downs. 3rd down and 2. It's going to be Flowers on a throw. And it's caught. That is Paris back at the tackle. Touchdown Detroit as they throw out of a heavy set.
Mr. Flowers, you dug deep on that series, man. We challenged you, and you just executed perfectly on that series. You did what you needed to do, led the team down the field with the help of Williams and the help of Henson. Great passes, accuracy. Oh my gosh! I mean, now we got ourselves a game, Cam.
That's the type of plan coaching that you need to win a championship, because we have watched Vancouver stuff that box all day long until Detroit says, you know what, we're going to beat you over the top with it.
That's right. We've got the plays in there, then we can make an adjustment, and we're not locked in on a one-sided playbook.
The extra point is up and good, and now we got a ball game. It's getting spicy in Denver. Vancouver leads 24-10. But they left the Legion a minute 55 to go score.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That is more than enough for them to put points on the board.
Mike O'Neill, $5 Super Chat says we need bingo numbers. Listen, I hear you loud and clear. maybe next year we'll do bingo for the championship. We just wanted to we wanted to focus on these two teams, make it about them as much as we could. But hey, man, if the people want the bingo to go along with big games like this, I'm listening. We'll hear you loud and clear.
Whatever you just tell me.
I think it's you. I think it's you, Charles. I think they love listening to you call it. Yeah, totally, absolutely. That's what it is. Brett Killian goes in motion now. 2x2 set. Killian, 2 catches, 29 yards, and he's got a punt return touchdown. They're going to toss it the opposite direction and pushing forward. The defender is that's Jalen Wells with 7, his best run of the day.
Well, we'll see. Right when I say that it looks like they're trying to milk the clock, they'll line up empty and toss it 80 yards. But it looks like they are trying to milk the clock a little bit.
Skip wants you to just say random numbers. So try to work that in.
That's what I thought you were doing last time. In response.
Oh, big hit by Devin Lloyd on the outside. King Jamal, who was featured in pregame, he has been playing a phenomenal brand of football, and that forces a 3rd down and 1 from Vancouver.
Here we go. Let's see what you got, Detroit.
3rd down and short, just 4 on the line here, 7 in the box for Detroit. Doesn't look like they have any kind of heavy set to counter the heavy look from Vancouver. That's a fullback dive. That's an easy first down, and look out. That could result in Vancouver getting aggressive just before the half, and now they will take timeouts. They no longer want to run the clock out, and that is a huge miss from the Detroit defense as Devin Lloyd scampers for a first.
It just shows you how dangerous they are. They go line up in power formation, and they're able to go a 2-minute drill running down the field.
A 22-yard run, now 35 yards on 5 carries for Lloyd. Some have come from the fullback position, some have not, as Killian goes in motion. Now on the Detroit 49-yard line, 2 timeouts for Vancouver. Brown now going to throw, tipped in the air, and almost intercepted.
Dangerous.
Actually, almost caught on the ground from the Vancouver receiver. We should see nothing but passes here from Brown, who's now 7 of 10.
And, well, Brown showed that he was human on that play.
Detroit does get the ball to start the second half, so if they can just hold Vancouver down, they might be able to get a 2-for-1. The Legion knocking on the door. 2nd and 10 for Brown. Brown's got time. That pass is caught into field goal range down to the 33. Timeout Vancouver. They have 1 remaining with 44 seconds to go.
That was a great play. I didn't get the name of the receiver that caught that.
It was Sudduth.
Oh, way to go, Sudduth. That's a lot of speed for Sudduth as well. He's probably a little gassed there. You don't see a man that large being able to run that fast.
Well, he's still gassed from the 75-yard touchdown run he had earlier, still holding on to that oxygen tank on the sideline. So now 1 timeout for Vancouver. It'd be a 49-yard field goal, 50-yard field goal from here. As Detroit is going to try to get after Brown, but that does not work. Down to the 18-yard line.
Incredible.
Timeout Vancouver. They have none remaining.
Unbelievable. They're in a perfect spot here. I mean, the one thing they don't want to do is obviously make a mistake here and give the ball, to Detroit. But man, they can run any play in their playbook right here.
Empty backfield from the 18-yard line. Sometimes these things can get prickly as you start to condense the field. Brown dropping to throw, fires, that is caught at the 1. And so here we go. Vancouver's got to find a play and no huddle from 1 yard out. 28 seconds. Roll out Brown. Brown throws, touchdown. Vancouver! Nick Lockett with the what a play from the Legion.
What?
That's amazing.
I did not expect that at all. I mean, a rollout on the 1 yard line and running back to the quarterback. Looked like the coverage was decent, back at the end of the end zone. Oh my gosh.
Our heads are spinning.
Water on that one.
Lockett, Lopez, Sudduth to win, and Killian, all with first half touchdowns, and that fits the theme of Vancouver's team this year, Charles. Everybody scores.
Definitely, everybody does score, and what was so amazing on that drive is, I said it looks like they're going to run the clock out. And they ran it all right, but they ran it for, 50 yards.
Well, the play that made that drive is that 3rd and 1 run to the fullback, and Detroit's going to rue the day that they didn't, have maybe a thicker box to counter that heavy look for Vancouver, because that play set the tone of the drive. Vancouver, to your point, they were going to run the clock out. That we were going to go to the half. Detroit was going to get the ball to start the second half, only down 2 scores. Now,
drink of water.
Right now we're right back to where we started, 21-0 with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
I mean, you can't go to sleep on Vancouver. I mean, you let them take a break on one play, like on the defensive line there. Looked like they got a little overwhelmed by the blocking, and that fullback got a good run and just set them up where they could bring out the air raid again and put 7 on the board.
That felt like a painful moment for Detroit, that 3rd and 1, to just give that up and let them kind of right back in this thing. And now Detroit's on the opposite side. They're just running the clock out to try to get to the locker room. Vancouver, in the first 5 minutes, they rush out to a 21-0 lead, a 75-yard bomb to John Michael Sudduth, a punt return touchdown on the opening drive from Brett Killian, and then a really great first drive for Vancouver. 11 of 14 for 240 passing yards in the first half for Christian Brown. And Vancouver's on cloud 9 right now.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the last game, we said they were hitting on all cylinders, but what we saw that was different from the previous game is Brown. I mean, Brown is passing it a lot more. He's got 240 yards, like Cam said, 3 touchdowns. Last week, they were relying heavily on the run. They are, running effectively, but man, right, their passing game is just at another level. And Detroit's going into the locker room trying to figure out what they can do to slow down this awesome Vancouver team. And, they've shown some signs that they were able to adjust. But, man, just one little slip, like we saw on that series when the fullback had that huge run, Vancouver's going to make you pay. So Detroit needs to come out here in the second half and have a flawless, perfect game.
Amonte with a $2 super chat says, what's the biggest comeback in the SFL championship? We don't have that record readily available for you. We'll try to find it for you, but until then, we're going to send it to Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith back in studios for the SFL championship halftime show, and we'll return to Denver, Colorado for the second half in just a moment. We'll be right back.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Season 26 Championship Game halftime show. Mike Daggs alongside Gerald Smith once again. Gerald, what an absolutely wild start to the game.
It was insane how it started out. Vancouver got the kickoff, went down there with somewhat ease, which we have not seen teams move the ball that easily on this Detroit squad. And then on the ensuing punt from Detroit as well, they went 3 and out, punted. Brett Killian.
Yeah,
Hall
Brett Killian back there all of a sudden getting himself a kick or a punt return touchdown. But yeah, to your point, Vancouver on their first drive, 75 yards, 5 plays to get the first touchdown of the ball game. The defense got that 3 and out. Brett Killian surprised back there at the punt return spot, got that touchdown, and then Vancouver on their next possession would throw a 75-yard touchdown pass to John Michael Sudduth, giving them a 21-0 lead. Gerald, there were still more than 5 minutes on the clock in the first quarter. Wasn't even halfway through the first quarter.
And I was sitting there wondering, hey, is Detroit just, because we heard some of the comments, hey, we're not supposed to be here. Yeah. Nobody thought we ever should be here. But look, you can't be settle for just getting there and being in a big game. You got to put your best foot forward and everything else. They look like they were not ready, and to put it bluntly, they got punched in the mouth entire first quarter.
Yeah, they sure did. Finally, Detroit would get that off the board with a 36-yard field goal, but it was a 4-minute, 13-second drive. 4-minute, 13-play drive to get them down there. And when you're down 21-0, to only get 3 points out of that, it was great to get that O off the board, but they definitely needed 7 there.
And they were so close, right? The tight end, had the ball in his hands in the end zone, Mike.
Yep.
Couldn't reel it in, got it knocked out by the defenders. Big play. If you look at it right there to get it up, I mean, we could be looking at a different game right now.
We sure could. I mean, Detroit was finally able to get a complete drive together later on, though. 8 plays, 80 yards. They got a 23-yard touchdown pass that cut the lead down 24-10. Cam on the call even said, now we've got ourselves a ball game. And you and I were thinking, hey, listen, if Detroit's able to either get a pick here or get a 3 and out, at least send it into halftime 24-10. They get the ball to start the second half. They go down the field. They score. We got a 1-score ball game. That 21-0 is a distant memory. But Vancouver's like, hang on. We're the defending champs. We want to be back-to-back champs like so many other teams have. They had a very impressive 2-minute drill, to say the least. They got all the way down the field, got themselves a touchdown. They reclaimed their 21-point lead. We head into halftime 31-10.
Yeah, and Mike, I'm just not seeing the aggressiveness defensively from Detroit at all up front, right? Where I talked about it early on. Their front four has to control the line of scrimmage to establish, the tone they want to set for this game. They have not done it. The offensive line has been just blowing out there, creating huge gaps for the running back. And even on that drive, Mike, they had an opportunity to get off of the field. 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
3rd and 1, they had it, created a huge gap right up the middle. Vancouver ran right up the middle, and they ran for 20-plus yards or whatever it was to get themselves down there. And then that's what sparked them to just be a lot more aggressive, Vancouver. And as we've seen, they went down and scored a touchdown to reclaim that 21-point lead. So they got a lot to do at half as far as what they need to correct. And I think it starts defensively, because we've seen the defensive breakdown, right? When they went up 21-0 Vancouver, where all-out blitz didn't get there. Huge, easy score. Can't have that happen. Break down on so many levels. They have to go there and figure out what they're going to do defensively, because it has to start with the defensive stop. Because no matter how much more points your offense is going to put up on the board, you have to stop the opponent.
Yeah, I agree. And the offense has already proven that they can get down the field and score, even if it is just getting into field goal range and putting up 3 points. Now, when you're down 21 points here at halftime, it seems insurmountable. But Vancouver was able to score 21 points in less than 5 minutes. There's nothing saying that Detroit can't do the very same thing. So there's a chance that they could get back into this. But to echo your sentiment there, the defense has to stop Vancouver from scoring. It's one thing to put up points. It's a whole nother to also not let your opponent put up points in the same process. And that's what Detroit has to do if they're going to stand a chance here in the second half. So wild first half. I'm sure the second half is going to be just as crazy. Halftime adjustments. We'll see what they are able to do. But we're going to jump right in now to your season 26 award winners. Very excited to be able to do this because, obviously season 25 award winners took all the way until today's game to be able to announce. We're back on track, season 26. We're announcing the award winners right now, and we are going to start with the surprise player of the season for season 26. Who was it? Who do we got? Surprise player of the season. There you go, Jack Wigmore, the quarterback for Bossier City. It's no surprise that Wigmore had a good season. It is a surprise that Wigmore had one of the best seasons of his career after leaving his longtime home in Baltimore. Wigmore, through the 4K23 era, he had a career-high 22 touchdowns in his first season with Bossier City, leading the Steamers back into the playoffs. His QBR was the best since season 21. He had over 3,000 yards, 22 touchdowns to just 15 picks. We knew Wigmore was good, but going to a new system, new weapons, new team, new coaches, and performing like he did, very few saw that coming.
Yeah, look, and they actually turned it around, right? And you know how their season kind of started, and they get back in it, and he was the key of what they were doing to get themselves in a situation to win more games and everything else and get themselves in the playoffs too, Mike. So, look, very congratulations to him. It was a surprise, him leaving where he was, completely new system for him to come down to the Swamps, Louisiana, and do what he did.
There you go. All right, time for your most improved player of season 26. Drum roll, please. Gary Clem from the DC Dragons. Gary Clem spent most of his career at linebacker and as a three-time All-Star. Last selected in season 21, Clem transitioned to free safety this season for the Dragons and graded out as the best safety of season 26. He had 89 tackles, more than his first 2 seasons combined in Sin City, a career-high 7 pass defense, and a career-high 4 interceptions. Appearing in his signature gold jacket at conventions, Clem has had the best season in years at a position that he's never played before.
And you know the thing? He played for me down in Louisiana, so he is a baller. I was questioning the move from linebacker to free safety, but I thought to myself, if anybody can do it, he can, and he proved that he can play all over the field. Doesn't matter where you put him. He's always a playmaker, and it shows. Congratulations.
All right, let's move on to the rookies of the season. We'll start with the defense. Your defensive rookie of the season for season 26 is Julian Gasca from Anchorage. Gasca was the only rookie defender this season to make the All-Star team, and for good reason. Gasca finished second in pass deflections in the league, only behind Miami's Maxwell Quimby. Gasca added 44 tackles, 4 TFLs, 2 interceptions, and a pick 6. He's looking at you, Eddie Gage, which he earned in his first game at Pro. And I remember that game, Gerald. We may have even been calling that one, but I remember Gasca pass going his way, picked it off, returned it to the house. It's like, wow, that's a way to make a statement. He goes on to win Defensive Rookie of the Season.
Yeah, and congratulations to him, right? A lot of people come in this league. Eddie Gage is one of them. Not picking on you, Eddie. You know we love you. But for this guy to come in on his very first game, get the pick, and get the pick 6 and everything else. But look, him being able to get in those pass lanes and knock the balls down too, extremely important. It's not a stat people, tout a whole lot,
right?
But it shows you are at the ball and being able to knock it down to create opportunities for your team.
All right, let's see who we have at Offensive Rookie of the Season. And you've seen him tonight already, Rashawn Williams from the Detroit Maulers. And they're going to need a lot more of Rashawn Williams tonight to get back into this one. He led the league in rushing touchdowns with 12. He was second in the SFL in rushing yards with 929, and he did it all as a rookie. He's a big reason why Detroit made it to the 26th SFL championship game. And after 510 rushing yards in his first SFLM season in Philadelphia, he went to burst onto the scene in San Jose in season 11 before going undrafted to Detroit. He's the first halfback to win the award since, there's a name from the past, Bismarck Wright in season 22. He was with Arizona, and Rashawn Williams goes on to win Offensive Rookie of the Season.
And he earned it, right? Because he is a guy that has been really instrumental in getting Detroit to this point. That dominant rushing attack that they have had, it all runs through him, right? Like you said, they're going to need a lot more of him in the second half to get there, to turn their fortunes around. But congratulations to him, well earned, and him to go undrafted and to prove to everybody who did not draft him how good he can be.
Yeah,
Good
here he is doing great things for Detroit. All right, special teams player of the season. Do we see a kicker this time around? Absolutely not. You got Jared Dumas from the Mexico City Aztecs. Jared Dumas was electric in all phases of the game this season, but his 3 punt return touchdowns tied Doug Britton's SFL record set in season 18 for the most punt return touchdowns in a season. He's the first punt returner to win the award since Scott Johnson of the Portland Fleet back in season 21, and the first to win the award for his duties on punt returns in SFL history. An absolute Swiss Army knife for the Aztecs. We love Jared Dumas. Congratulations on winning Special Teams Player of the Season.
Look, and he could have got the Swiss Army knife award if that was even a thing.
We should have invented it.
He can catch it. He can run it. There was a game, Mike, where he had a touchdown receiving, returning, and actually rushing. So, look, but credit to him. He's done a lot of good things in a return game, especially in the punt. We all know how difficult it is. We saw one tonight to return a punt.
Yep.
And he's done it quite a few times. So
twice was in the same game.
Right. And congratulations to him. Well deserved.
Yes.
It's a lot of work to return punts for touchdowns, and he did it.
He sure did. Yeah, congratulations to Jared Dumas. All right, Defensive Player of the Season for season 26. Let's see it. We've got Minnesota legend corner Johnny Bravo. Bravo had a season to remember. He led by 13 interceptions that fell just short of an SFL record and blew away Michaela Forker's 4K23 era record of 9. Bravo had 12 total interceptions in his last 4 seasons combined, and his resurgence led the Minnesota Legend to a playoff appearance and win over Houston in the wild card round. Bravo also had 11 pass deflections and 8 tackles for a loss, 2 other career highs. He was so good, Gerald, that if I was voting, he was my pick for MVP.
He would have been my pick for MVP as well. Why? Because we know how Minnesota has struggled, and him on defense being able to do what he did,
game changer,
turned it around for them, got the ball back, gave them more opportunities and everything else. And for a DB to get 13 interceptions he had on the season, it is insane the amount and where he's at. Only played 12 games in a regular season. That's at least a pick a game.
I know.
He did it, well earned and everything else. So he would have been my pick too for MVP because he was the most valuable player in the league for me, from my perspective. But credit to him, defensive player of the season, well earned.
I'm pretty sure he had more interceptions single-handedly than my entire defense. I got to check. I'm not throwing shade at my own team, but that's just credit to Johnny Bravo. To your point, more than a pick per game on average is absolutely incredible. Defensive player of the season, and I don't even think it was close. Let's go on to the offensive player of the season. Who do we got? A man who has won every award I think imaginable. You got Lexington wide receiver Gabriel Manning, the season 22 MVP, collects his second league award in his distinguished and Hall of Fame career, winning offensive player of the season. He racked up 1,365 yards. It was 117 more than any other player, and 11 receiving touchdowns, 2 more than any other player. The 1,365 yards and 11 touchdowns are the most yards he's compiled since that MVP campaign. He's the first wide receiver to win this award since Connor Weston did in Pittsburgh in season 23. Congratulations to Gabriel Manning.
Gabe Money Manning, they call him, because he wants all the money. Look, and he shows it that he deserves every bit of the money he gets. And here he is. Congratulations to him for the offensive player of the season, doing the things that you would expect Gabriel Manning to does. I know a lot of people teams didn't want to pay him the money to get him there, but he always produced, and guess what he did this season? He produced for the Miners and got what he got. So congratulations to Gabe.
All right, it's time for your season 26 MVP, somebody who I don't think is going to be a surprise to anyone, especially since Johnny Bravo's already off the board. Who do we have at MVP for season 26? It's right, it's John Osmosis from the Anchorage Wolves. An Anchorage halfback, John Osmosis compiled more rushing yards than any other player in the zero stamina era ever. 1,335. It was 406 yards more than any other rusher this season. His 11 touchdowns on the ground ranked second, as he had the most, one of the best rushing attacks, led by the Wolves. That franchise just brought them to the most wins that they had since season 17. Osmosis is the first halfback to win MVP since the game switch and since DJ Moses II did it for Arizona back in season 20. Osmosis, MVP, absolutely. He was nearly single-handedly that offense. We've talked about Anchorage at length, through our breakdowns. Obviously joined in the backfield by Charlie Baker as well.
Yep.
That two-headed rushing attack for the Wolves. The passing game wasn't quite there yet, but that running game, led by Osmosis, ran them all the way to how far they made it.
And that was another team I doubted, right? Like, I underestimated what John Osmosis was able to do and what the team was able to put on his back, and he just carried him, right? Obviously, from all the stats you just read, the only running back in the league to run for over 1,000 yards. If he got 406 more yards than anybody else, and he's at 1,300. Only back to run for over 1,000 yards this season, and he gets 11 touchdowns out of it. Congratulations to him, because he is one of the reasons why Anchorage went as far as they went. And I am not saying he is not deserving of the MVP, because he very much is. He was the most valuable person on the team, carried his team, much like Johnny Bravo did. Well-deserved John Osmosis, Mr. MVP.
Congratulations to all the award winners. Watch your player banks, because these awards aren't just shiny accolades with cool graphics. You also get paid. The MVP will get $2 million added to their player bank. All the other award winners get $1 million added to their player bank. That is some game-changing money right there. So congratulations to all the award winners. Watch those banks. They're about to get inflated. All right, we are just a few minutes away from sending you back to Zollner Championship Field in Denver to get the second half started. Detroit will get the ball to start the second half. Gerald, I know you already touched on it a little bit, but dive into it more. What does Detroit have to do to get themselves back in?
They're going to have to come out, and with them getting the ball to start the second half, they have to go down there and score a touchdown. Doesn't matter how you get it. And your defense, the adjustments you need to make. You need to make sure in rushing downs, you need to stack the box and actually shut down that run game of Vancouver, because that's where you really hurt. And I talked about it early on, too, in the pregame. They have to start stopping the passing attack as well, because that's where they're really, really hurting them on almost first and second down. It's right there. So if they want to get themselves back into this game, they need to get the ball back. They have to force turnovers. Have not forced a turnover yet today. That's how they were able to best Mexico City last week with the turnover. So they need to start getting turnovers. It'll flip on the field on them, maybe have a good point swing, and maybe put Vancouver on their heels a little bit, despite them, Vancouver being up 21 right now.
We talked about it pregame as well. These two quarterbacks combined, I think, threw more interceptions than everybody else.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yep.
And so far, both of them playing a really clean game. It's going to be up to that Detroit defense to try to find a way to get Christian Brown off his game and figure out ways to get those turnovers. And Ethan Flowers is going to have to continue what he's been doing both so far in this game and last week, where he kept a clean game. The offense really put a complete, perfect game plan together in their semifinal appearance against Mexico City. They're going to have to make those same adjustments that they did in that one to get the momentum back on their side. Defense really needs to step up. For Vancouver,
yeah, and Vancouver just keep doing what you're doing. Offensive line is blocking well.
Yeah.
Christian Brown is under no pressure whatsoever. None. The offensive line is creating these massive holes for the running backs to run through. And defensively, Vancouver is shutting down the run game of Detroit. If they continue to do that, you've seen Cam even talked about, how they're stacking the box and being able to shut it down. If they continue to do that, I do think that 21-point lead will be their way to just win right now, because they can almost coast. If they can continue to replicate that on defense, they almost might be able to coast. But I'm sure Detroit's going to make some adjustments, so Vancouver needs to be ready to stop what they have, what Detroit's going to pull out on them.
All right, we'll see what happens here in the second half. We'll send you back to Zollner Championship Field, get the second half going, and then we will see you back here for the postgame to wrap things up. Cameron Irvine, back to you after this.
And welcome back to Denver, Colorado for the SFL's 26th championship game. Along with Ron Haynes and Eddie Gage, I'm Cameron Irvine. Charles Doherty is right alongside me at VFN headquarters. Wint gets that out to the 30. Thanks to Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith for the halftime report. Congrats to Rashawn Williams for winning Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, well-deserved, and he's going to need to show more of that, what got him here in this second half.
54 yards on 11 carries for Williams in that first half of play. And the handoff is going to go to Williams to start, and he'll pick up a long 4 yards to set up a 2nd down and 6. Charles, if Detroit can put together a long, sustained drive and get a touchdown out of it, they're right back in this thing. This drive feels very critical to start the second
definitely.
half.
I think they don't need to make a lot of adjustments in the running game. We need to see something new in the passing game because it's shown some sparks, but not consistently.
Not much there for Williams. Gets a couple more. That's Gaston Jr. taking over again. He's got 8 total tackles to lead the way for Vancouver. The former Detroit Mauler put in a position to stick it to his former team tonight. Flowers, 6 of 12 for 85 yards and a touchdown. No picks in the first half. 3rd down and 4 for Detroit. Flowers going to throw. Deep drop back for Flowers. And he had a receiver wide open in the medium zone and tried to take the top off the defense and failed to do so. 3 and out Detroit.
Well, you could also say if you put a little touch on that pass, it looked like the receiver had a couple steps on the defender. So just not a well-executed play. They need to go back to the drawing board and figure something out.
That is not a good start for Detroit, who needed something big time to start the second half, and now the pressure is a lot on their defense. To the 25-yard line, Killian on the return.
And Vancouver, no problem at all with the way they played in that first half. Maybe 1 or 2 series they were stopped, but they were hitting on all cylinders. And I don't think have to make a lot of adjustments here in this second half.
1st and 10 of the 25. The handoff gets a couple for Vancouver. That is Jalen Wells, his 4th carry of the day, 2nd down.
It's going to be a big challenge here in the second half for that defensive line of the Maulers. So far, I think Gerald alluded to it in his the halftime show. The offensive line is having their way with the defensive line of the Maulers. The Maulers need to do something to start, creating some havoc.
2nd and 8, 8:20 to go in the 3rd. Man in motion for Vancouver, out of that heavy set, going that way, and just a straight go route down the sideline for a 1st down. Ezekiel Baird, nothing fancy there.
And the window was closing quickly. Brown had to get that accurate pass in there and put a little zip in it, right because the defender was closing in.
We have seen King Rashid in a lot of zones today, and he was covering that shallow flat just then. Let Bear go right past him. Detroit not playing a lot of man today.
Yeah, I think they maybe need to play a little bit more because if you're going up against Christian Brown and this offense for Vancouver, they can carve up zones.
Christian Brown dropping a throw. That pass is almost picked, and Detroit really needed that one. Rashid was in the right place, but it's incomplete.
Yeah, good coverage there, and just at this point of the game, those opportunities need to be captured. You need to bring that ball in and give your offense a chance to put something up.
2 in the backfield, another heavy look here for Vancouver. Play action for Brown. Brown's got all the time in the world. Incomplete. And a good coverage there from Jack Brown, who had the roughing the passer earlier today. Gets up and talks some smack to Ezekiel Barrett. No sacks. Well, Jack Brown's got one, but no sacks from either defensive front.
That's right, and we need to see more of that physicality on the Detroit side.
3rd down and 10. Just 4 down linemen here. 4 receivers for Vancouver in the pattern. They need midfield. Killian's going to make it a 3-by-1 to the short side right for Christian Brown. 12 of 17 for 253 in this ball game. Brown dropping a throw. He's got a clean pocket again. It's breaking down. He throws it deep, and it's incomplete. And Detroit's defense finds a way down the field. That was probably their best series of the day.
Definitely. Yeah, well done by the defense. Now let's get Flowers out there and let's give him a chance to. He had a couple flashes in the first half. just need to have some consistent drives. And I think, again, back to Gerald and Mike, one of the things that they mentioned I think was spot on is they need to put points on the board when they get the ball back. So this is a big series for Minnesota.
If you're Detroit on the sideline, you're thinking, for the last 2 quarters, we have played Vancouver even. We are just as good as this team. We're 10-10, but we've got to figure out where we're going to get 21 points from in the last 15 minutes.
And again, I think we're going to need to see something new in the passing game.
So Flowers has hit Parrish twice, Wint twice, Henson Jr. twice. Jamar Shelton, a talented rookie receiver, just 1 target, no catches today. Shelton so far this season had 622 receiving yards, which was second just to Henson Jr. as Williams picks up 6.
Yeah, that's what you want to see on first down. Give it to your money back, Williams, and he knocks off 6 yards.
Flowers this season, 19 touchdowns, but 29 interceptions. He was 7th in the league, surprisingly, in passing yards with 3,206. A lot of people look at this team as strictly a running team. Gibson running backwards there. He had no room. Gaston Jr., arguably the defensive MVP of this game.
Oh,
so
yeah,
far.
we're calling his name a lot, and we're also seeing him where he needs to be on these big plays. And let's see how he does here on this 3rd and 5. See if we can stop. They can stop Minnesota.
They bring the pressure. This is Flowers. He got rid of 4 different defenders and still couldn't get the first down. It was almost like he completely lost his vision downfield as Vancouver was barreling in on him.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's back to consistency. We saw some good heads-up play. The defense did what they needed to do, got the ball back to the offense, and they just weren't able to execute. And the pressure is on. Each time they don't score on these drives, it gets the odds obviously get worse.
And Killian says, I can do it again, Coach. We can't, up to the 29-yard line as the Legion will start their next possession. 2 drives for Detroit in the first 4 minutes, 2 3-and-outs. They just have not started halves off very well.
Well, the good news is, like you said, they've got something to build on from that last series. The defense, I agree with you, played their best set last time they were on the field.
Can Vancouver extend the lead? That is going to be the question here, because any points at this point makes the game feel a little bit out of reach for Detroit. This is Christian Brown dropping a throw. He's going to fire it down the field. Caught one-handed at the 46-yard line. That's Bear again, who is over 100 receiving yards and has had a phenomenal day.
Yeah, and phenomenal job by the offensive line. They're winning the battle this game against the very, very skilled defensive line for Detroit. Brown had all the time in the world, and you cannot give that type of quarterback that much time.
Ezekiel Bear, 6 catches for 120 yards on 7 targets, has been the man today for Vancouver. This is a run for the Legion, picking up 9 yards. That is Killian's second carry.
Yep, Vancouver's not going easy on them. They're still pressing on the pedal, trying to get some more points up there. The pressure on for Minnesota. Why did you say Minnesota?
I have no idea.
Detroit.
You didn't do that at all in the first half.
I don't know.
I shouldn't have given you that Jack Daniels at halftime.
Yeah.
It really messed with your head. Ezekiel Bear's first 100-yard game since April 10th. That toss is a first down to the 31-yard line. That is Devin Lloyd around the outside.
Great block. They block on the outside so well. You can you really have to have a strong blocking team, a unit there on your offensive side when you're running those toss plays and those stretch plays.
Bears' career high went against Mexico City for 155 yards on 11 receptions back on September 6, 2025. He is working towards that right now with 121, 4:40 to go in the third, as another nail is being cemented into the coffin of Detroit unless they can get a big turnover. King Jamal's 7th tackle. He leads all defenders on the Mahler sideline.
You are very creative in your analogies. I mean, another nail cemented into the coffin.
I mean,
visual's perfect.
You definitely don't pour cement. You definitely hammer it, but you got to get creative when you bury someone.
Nice stiff
a handoff gets a first down. Just keep going. just keep going. Devin Lloyd with a first down.
Wow. Okay, let's move on. The weather tonight is wonderful. There's a little bit of wind going on that's impacted some of the kicking, but not so much.
Sometimes when you do this as much as I do, you just you're bound to just say something that you wish you could take back. I wish I could take that back. 1st and 10 of the Detroit 20. Oh, heads up. Touchdown. Vancouver up by 4 scores now, and Nick Lockett's got his 2nd touchdown of the day.
Another opportunity, got it missed, and Vancouver made him pay for it. It's another Christmas gift. I mean, wide open like that. Oh, they got to be kicking themselves on the sideline.
You got 2 of those today. You got the punt return touchdown for Vancouver. You wipe all that away, and it's only a 7-point game. And it just has not been Detroit's day today. They've had some flashes, but it has not been nearly enough in the biggest spot of their season.
Yeah, and you're putting a lot of pressure on that defense too. The reality here is you keep putting them out on the field, and this Vancouver offense is going to take the wind out of them, and we could potentially see even more points put up.
Mark Lopez says, "Unleash the Lockett rocket."
Yeah, well, he told me something before the game. I believe that Lockett's retiring at the end of the season, so we want to have a good game for him to ride off into the sunset.
Well, and he's got 5 targets today. 3 of them have gone incomplete, and 2 of them have gone for touchdowns. So it's been nothing but touchdowns for Nick Lockett and Christian Brown today. Who has 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 14 of 20 for 291 yards. In these past few games for Detroit's defense, as that pass is caught at the 32.
Nice catch.
There's Jamar Shelton into the game, his first catch. But, what has happened to this number 1 ranked Detroit pass defense the last couple of weeks? Well, really in the playoffs, Minnesota, Mexico City, and now Vancouver, they just have had no answer for some of these top offenses. 3:25 to go in the 3rd quarter. Off that reception to the 33-yard line. It's a 1st down for Detroit. They got to get some points on this drive. Well, definitely a touchdown. Rashawn Williams picks up 2.
Well, if they don't get their passing game, we saw a couple good passes here, but if they don't get a consistent passing game in check, we're going to see less and less yards out of Williams because they're just going to start loading up that line and shutting it down a lot. We saw a lot of that in the first half, but they're just going to build on it.
Flowers dropping a throw. He's got time and escapes. Finds Jimmy Wint, who breaks a tackle, gets a 1st down. Down the sideline of the 49-yard line. He continues to be the impressive key for Detroit's passing attack.
Mr. Reliable in the passing game. Get that man the ball more often, and that's the type of play that you can start building some momentum off of. He fought his way through. Didn't look like it was going to be a huge gain, but after he caught the ball, it was all effort.
Christian Brown, we had to do a deep dive on this. Christian Brown is having the best game of his career. Charles, he has never thrown 4 touchdowns in a game without an interception, and that's where he's at right now.
Boy.
With 2:20. Look, I'm trying to get a competitive game here. Pick up a 5 yards as Williams gets half of what they need.
You're starting to cement the nail, and what did you say? Cement the nail, and
Charles, don't try to be me. Just be you. You don't want that. You don't want that on your conscience.
Nostalgia.
It's only the 2nd time that Christian Brown has thrown for 4 passing touchdowns in a game. He did it March 7th against Houston. He also threw 6 picks. That's a pass interference, and that'll be a Detroit 1st down.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great call there.
That call is on Emmanuel Blackman. We'll get another look at it.
I was going to say he looked, well.
I don't know about that one.
Well, second thought.
We got a $10 super chat from, I believe, Mike O'Neill. Have Charles read this so all can be right with the world. Go ahead.
Beckett, it's really small up there, so let's say tonight's bingo numbers are 4, 7, 9, 12, 16, 19, 23, 28, except for skipping.
And I hope that you guys heard that not as well as Charles went away from his microphone to read the numbers.
I don't read it. It's like 5 miles away from me.
2nd down and 4. It's a big studio here at VFN.
Yep.
1:38 to go in the 3rd quarter. Detroit on the move. They're into Vancouver territory, but they're taking a lot of time off the clock to get there. Hand off to Williams. Gets a couple more. 3rd and 2 coming up.
No, it'd be better if we heard him.
See, they didn't hear you. Here,
Make it bigger for me, boss.
I'll.
Well, there you go.
Let's see what I can do. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to do
Oh,
something.
I can see
for
it there.
you.
I can do it now. Tonight's bingo
It's the
numbers
same.
are 4, 7, 9, 12, 16, 19, 23, and I can't know what the last one is.
28.
28.
Ethan Flowers is sacked, and there you go. That is the first sack for Vancouver tonight, and it comes by way of Drew Hamilton, who's been much quieter than we're used to, but they haven't really thrown many passes his way tonight.
Why, he's like, he's a lurker out there on defense. We talked about that before the game. He knows where the ball's going, and he puts himself where he's going to capitalize on it. And, amazingly, when the ball, not amazingly, but it's expected, when you throw the ball near him, it's a pretty good chance he's going to intercept it.
And because of that sack, it knocks him out of field goal range, so Detroit gets nothing on their third possession of the third quarter. Killian is fearless, and he gets into the 19th.
He wants two.
It's the last. It reminds me of, what was that? I think it was the Waterboys. The last game of the season. Can't hold anything back now. That's BK Solberg tonight.
Just hope he stays healthy.
Well, injuries are off, good sir. I definitely remembered that after the first wild card game. 32 seconds to go in the third quarter, 38-10. Vancouver on top of Detroit. The handoff to
effort.
Jalen Wells. Good effort there. Picks up 4.
Didn't start out well. Thought he was going to get thrown down there in the backfield, but just kept going at it and knocked 4 off.
Mark Lopez up 28 is bragging that Drew Hamilton has the lowest pass rush in their front 7. We don't care.
Thanks.
Mark. You're up by 28 with 1 quarter to go. Just
Mark's cementing the nail in the. What was it again?
No, be you, not me. End of the third quarter, 38-10. It's all Vancouver, and the Legion have the football. Final 10 minutes of season 26 is coming up next. Ron Haynes, Eddie Gage in the stats truck. Thanks for holding it down for us, guys. Lots of good stats to get to the people today. Charles Doherty and Cameron Irvine here live from VFN Studios. And it would appear, with 10 minutes to go, we don't want to say for certain, but with 10 minutes to go, it would appear that we have yet another back-to-back champion in the SFL. Once you win one, you start rolling along until someone someone takes it from you. Christian Brown is going to take another first down.
And what's amazing for Vancouver is how they bounced back after that championship loss against Mexico City. They didn't let them get down, and they actually got better the next year and better this year.
From the Wolf in the chat, $4.99 super chat, John Osmosis, the league MVP. Man, and he was incredible. I mean, people thought that when we made that rule change in season 21, it was the end of the run game as we know it. And John Osmosis proving.
Look at the run game there.
Yeah, look at the run game here.
Holy smokes, it's still going.
Beyond midfield to the 42-yard line, that's Jalen Wells. And honestly, yes, Vancouver's passing game has been tremendous today. But in some of the critical moments of this game, Detroit has given up wide open rushing lanes up front too.
They're getting all of their backs involved. And look at that, 3.5 for the quarterback average, 8.1 for Lloyd, 6.1 for Wells, and even Killian's got some in there. He's got almost 5 yards per carry.
121 rushing yards for Vancouver. That's more than Detroit by 7, but the passing yards have been the big difference. 409 in total yards for Vancouver, still averaging 9.5 yards per play, although that will lower the average as Lloyd on his 8th carry gets nothing.
I mean, the fans in the stands are definitely downtrodden there, being down by 28. Not a lot of time at 8:52. You know, what we're looking for is Vancouver to make a mistake, but so far we haven't seen it.
Second down and 10, 8:40 to go for Brown. Toss play, not going to get much. That's Brown's 6th tackle today. We'll set up a 3rd down and 10 for Vancouver, but right now they are content to just let the clock roll.
Yeah, smart. Well, until they get a one decent runoff, and then they're going to open up the cannons again.
Here we go, empty backfield on 3rd down and 10. Brown dropping a throw. Christian Brown still looking, and sacked at the 46-yard line. That is big Robert Cherry with his first takedown of the day. It'll bring up 4th down. Vancouver will have to punt, but I don't think they care that much.
Yep, the defensive line won on that play. Got a penetration back through the pass protection, but downfield coverage was excellent.
So now Detroit will be in their normal offense until 5 minutes to go, trying to put something together, but we have not seen a ton of explosiveness out of them. This is just a tremendous punt that somehow stays in bounds all the way down to the 9-yard line, and it ran probably about 10 more seconds off the clock.
And also, like that one bounce looked like it was 12 yards added to the punt.
And that's one of the best things about football is the ball itself, the shape of the ball. All these boring sports, all their round ball, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
it's fun. Whoever came up with that, thanks for giving us all some great entertainment all these years. 1st and 10 at the 9.
Oh,
Williams on the carry. Gets only a yard, but shut down by Jack Russell, is up to 7 tackles on the outside.
And Jack showed a little bit of that closing speed. Man, he was on that edge fast. Shut that down.
Flowers, 8 of 15, has not played bad. 8 of 15 for 113 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. He's, Rashawn Williams, 76 yards on 18 carries. I mean, these are not terrible numbers for Detroit as Flowers rolls out and it cannot bring it up or bring it in. Khan was the intended target. I'm just saying, when you're down by 28, some games it's just ugly, but you look at the stats for Detroit, they haven't played a bad game.
No, I mean, it's just Vancouver gets the ball and they just score so, effectively and quickly in some cases.
Empty backfield, five wide on 3rd down and 9. Detroit is 6 of 13 on 3rd down tonight, dropping a throw for Flowers to stay in the pattern right at the line of scrimmage, and he had to throw it into double coverage to Shelton. 3rd and long, you got 2 guys just standing there. That's kind of a waste, and Detroit's got to punt again.
Yeah, unbelievable. And Vancouver's going to get the ball potentially in very good field position.
Well, for the Vancouver Legion, they will join some pretty incredible company in championship history as Killian will keep on going. That's 4 broken tackles to the Detroit 42-yard line. They'll join Baltimore, Florida, Queen City, Mexico City, Minneapolis, and Denver as the only franchises to ever win multiple championships. And, Mexico City, Florida, and Baltimore, they're the only 3 to have won back-to-back titles, and Vancouver has a chance to join them as well.
It's amazing. I mean, they've shown it on the field that they deserve it so far. I know there's some time left, but man, what a game book they put together tonight.
6:50 to go. Amonte in the chat, punting right now? ? Yeah, until 5 minutes to go. That's just how it goes. As Vancouver gets a yard there.
Yeah, I was wondering, Queen City didn't win too?
Not back-to-back.
Oh, back-to-back. Oh, I thought you were just going 2.
Yeah, they never won back-to-back. Or maybe they did. I'm pretty sure they didn't, though, as the handoff goes to Jalen Wells around the end to the 25-yard line.
I know better than that going against you. I should.
Yeah,
can I take the question away?
Dags should take the question mark away. He was the one that stuck himself out there.
Stop sticking yourself out there, Mike. It really bothers Cam.
You want to do both jobs? Because you're going to have me on the floor over here. 6 minutes to go in the 4th. Vancouver rolling into Detroit territory. They run the football here to the 23. And Vancouver, sometimes Vancouver gets a little, they get a little feisty and they start throwing late in games. They're not messing around with that today. They're running this clock out right now.
So, this is a play like that. It looks like, okay, a couple yards. This could be one that has a big return.
Toss, and not much there. Pick up a 2. But Detroit did their scouting. They have been all over that toss to the outside for Vancouver, but it doesn't matter because they have not been able to stop a pass much all day. There's so much zone, and Brown's picking them apart. 3rd down. They're bringing 5 right up the gut. That pass is incomplete, and Robert Cherry, who's had a nice day. Sean Parent pretty quiet up front, but Cherry was there to get the pressure, and now we'll have a field goal from 39 yards.
Was that Cherry that stepped over the blocker?
Yeah. Just
amazing.
Just walked right over him. This to put a 40-piece up for Vancouver. And that one is off the post and no good. That was going way right quickly. So Vancouver unable to add to their lead.
And they started out with really good field position, but hey, they're up by four scores?
Yep.
So I don't think they're going to yell at the kicker too hard.
With 5:04 to go, we'll see Detroit kind of hurry things up a little, but it's going to be a tall task to right the ship. Obviously, down 4 scores here. They're going to hand it off to Williams, and I think we'll see. Well, no. Well, I guess we'll see it on the next play. It just missed the mark as Gerald Giudice makes the tackle.
I haven't heard Giudice's name a lot tonight, but he's a master at throwing the offensive blocker off their game.
2nd and 9, toss play out to Gibson. Gibson gets 5, and here's the no huddle for Detroit. All right, 3rd down and 4. Ethan Flowers back to pass. It is caught. Robert Henson to the 48-yard line, and here come the Maulers.
Yep. Now we just need to put some points up here for Detroit.
Flowers, deep drop back. Fires, caught, wide open. That's Parrish to the Vancouver 31-yard line.
That's some deep coverage there by Vancouver.
Flowers again. And off the hand of Robert Henson. That reset things with 4:02 to play.
They're going to have to score quickly here, and the closer they get to that goal line, the harder it's going to get for their passing game.
Williams in the backfield, 19 carries, 77 yards. Didn't do anything catching the football today. C.J. Parrish with 60 yards on 3 catches, their top receiver right now. Straight back for Flowers, run a little hot route over the middle. That is complete. That picks up a 1st down for Detroit. And this time they go over the middle to Shelton. Shelton down to the 11-yard line, 2nd and 1. Flowers got the 1st. That's Shelton down to about the 9-yard line. Okay, Detroit, let's go.
Let's go. Tick-tock.
Flowers, middle, caught at the 4. 2nd and goal at the 3-yard line.
They're still backing off the line, Vancouver, on defense. It's almost like they're willing them to throw it in the end zone.
And he got it. Touchdown, Detroit. That is Taylor in for all the fatigue from special teams for Detroit. So even the backups getting some love for Detroit in the passing game, and they'll have to onside kick with 3:19 to play.
I'd say too much, too little, too late.
Tanner Taylor made that catch, and we're right back where we started with 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. It's a 21-point game. They just were never able to recover from that blistering start as we see the Dags blimp flying away. I haven't seen much of them today, which is a bummer. Vancouver returns the onside kick.
They were lucky on that one.
That's right.
Holy smokes.
Strong with the recovery. 3:16 to go in the 4th quarter, and Vancouver will do a little bit more clock eating.
Yeah, I mean, Flowers, like you said, Flowers hasn't thrown an interception tonight. 60% completion. You'd probably want that higher. 2 touchdowns, 108 QBR. Not a bad game. I just think we needed more of it. You know what I mean? Because they were relying a lot on Williams, and, they keyed on it from the Vancouver side.
I think at the end of the day, obviously the pass defense really struggled for Detroit, and they gave up just so many. I mean, Christian Brown is averaging 13.9 yards per attempt, not completion, per attempt. If you did completion, it'd be 20-plus yards of completion for Christian Brown. You're not going to win any game playing defense like that.
I just don't. You know what? I just don't want him to pass it. I don't want him to walk away and make a mistake. I want him to walk away without any interceptions.
Down to 2:50 to go in the 4th. Vancouver's going to hold on and win this thing, get their 2nd championship after going so long without any. They are rolling now, and they are the unquestionable leaders in the clubhouse going into season 27. Of course, Philadelphia coming in, Florida departing, but Vancouver, the heavy favorites. It's easy to say going into season 27.
Well, Andy made mention of it on his interview. They do so well from a coaching standpoint, building their players, keeping their players, and I don't see that changing in the near future.
3rd and 1. They don't have to run another play before the 2-minute warning, and we are going to get there right now. Vancouver 38, Detroit 17. You're watching the SFL Season 26 Championship right here on the Virtual Football Network. From Zolnir Championship Field, Vancouver is about to get their championship rings from last season. Now they're going to have to order some more.
I know.
They got
Make it a double.
They make it a double as the rings and the hands are going to get just as heavy as Mike Daggs as that picks up a first down, first time out Detroit.
So I guess the fashion is to wear it to the convention.
Yeah.
Wear your jewelry.
If I was them, I absolutely would. You gotta flaunt it if you got it.
Another good one. You're coming up with a lot of good stuff tonight. Wow.
It's the last game of the season. You can't hold anything back.
Wow. What was the other one? Cement.
No. Oh, yeah. Thought you were gonna.
Here we go.
Oh, there he goes. That's a touchdown, Vancouver, in the late stages of this game. And Devin Lloyd gets in. So Lockett, Lopez, Killian, Lloyd, all with scores today. And it's the first rushing touchdown for Vancouver on the day.
Unbelievable. That makes him over 100, I think, on that run. Solid outing for Lloyd.
And for Devin Lloyd, that was his longest run of the season.
2 yards.
In garbage time of a championship game that has gotten out of hand, and it just was all Vancouver today from the word go. From the first time Brett Killian touched the football, he set the tone. Great season for Detroit. They obviously came up short. They had never been in this position before. It is a tall task. Despite what you did in the regular season, to come into your first championship game and win it, it's very unusual that occurs, but still a great season nonetheless.
You can take a page from Vancouver's book. Like I said earlier, they lost to Mexico City.
That's right.
They got together in the offseason, figured out what they needed to do, and they were just on fire the season after. And I can see Detroit doing that.
And they beat Mexico City in the rematch the following year. Maybe we have another rematch next season between Vancouver and Detroit. A 1999 super chat from Robert Henson. No one expected us to be here. We ran into a championship team and they showed us why. I'm proud to wear the Maulers uniform. Some players never get here. Thanks for the opportunity to enjoy the community, to the league. Good game, Legion. And that is first-class sportsmanship right there from Robert
Hats
Henson.
off to you, sir.
And, to his point, I would say the vast majority of players never get to a championship. It's hard. You've at the start of the season you got about a 5% chance of winning it all, let alone getting to the championship game. And so it is a tall task, and Detroit should be very proud of what they accomplished this season. Nice throw to C.J. Parrish. That'll be timeout number 2 from Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, I know Detroit's feeling the pain, losing under the big lights, but they've got a lot to be proud of. They've built, in a very short time, they've built a very, very solid team, not only players, but also the ownership and coaching staff. And, I think they know what they need to do in the offseason. And, if I was playing them early next season, I'd, have to put in some extra hours.
Flowers, a deep ball to Henson Jr. That is complete. Last time out for Detroit as Ethan Flowers tries to get down the field and get his third touchdown on the board. He's still slinging it and playing pretty good out there.
He definitely is. And I'm not going to say the word, but both quarterbacks have not made, any large mistakes. Let's say that.
We've seen a lot of great games in season 26 this season. How do you feel like season 27 shakes out? That pass is intercepted. Way to go, Charles. That pick is by Mark Lopez, as if the man doesn't have any good fortune going on in his life already.
What you asked me.
That's all right. We don't need to.
Waiting for a chat to unleash on me.
Well, Lopez with the interception, and that puts a capper on this.
I didn't even say the word. I alluded to it, and I still got burnt.
That's how it goes. Anyway, my question was what. How do you feel going into season 27 after we saw this season in season 26 a lot of great competition on the field, and I think the bottom of the standings much improved over maybe previous years.
Yeah, the coaches are getting better each. I mean, there's always the stalwarts that have been here from the beginning that are know what they're doing and show it on the field. But we're seeing a lot of other teams coming in. Anchorage came out of the coaching staff came out of the minor league, and I know he did Queen City as well, but he, did a great job. I mean, stands out to me, but all the other teams out there, you can't go to sleep on any team in this league. The coaching's just way too good.
Christian Brown officially with his first career 4-touchdown, no interception game, a QBR of 149.3. He's the player of the game, or is it someone else?
Christian Brown.
For you. Yep.
It's got to be.
Yep. Nick Lockett in his final SFL game potentially with 2 touchdowns on 2 receptions. That's as efficient as you can get. Devin Lloyd with 101 rushing yards. Ethan Flowers, 199 super chat, says good game, Vancouver. I'll be back here, and we certainly hope to see him back as Detroit licks their wounds. Vancouver is seconds away from their second SFL championship, and back-to-back they go. The champions reside in Canada. 45-17, Vancouver over Detroit. They thump the Maulers in the biggest of spots. Vancouver are your season 26 SFL champions. Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith have their post-game wrap-up thoughts, but let's hear yours, Charles.
Congratulations to Vancouver. I mean, they were king of the hill for 2 seasons in a row, and like I said earlier, I would say one, if not the best-run organizations in the league. I'm really happy for Andy and Mark and Brett and the rest of the team there. I've had the pleasure of seeing how much time they put into the work. The things you hear from Brett on AJ's interview is true. They know how to do it. They should write a book about how to do it and sell it. Hats off to Vancouver and Christian Brown as well for today. In particular, a perfect game for him. And the offensive line for Vancouver, we've talked a lot about some of the stars on both sides, but that offensive line for Vancouver, one of the best. I'm going to say they're the best offensive line now because they're championship offensive line 2 seasons in a row, and they kept their quarterback clean. So well done, but also Detroit, congratulations on getting this far, and I know you'll be back next year.
Charles, it was another great season with you. Looking forward to doing it next season as well, and seeing you in Denver for the convention, right?
Next season?
Of course you are. Renewed live on the
Mike
air.
Need to talk to me after the.
I don't know. That's
boy.
between you and Mike.
Right.
You're coming to the convention, right? We'll see you there.
So.
Okay.
Unless
all
you
right.
know something I don't know. Unless you're cementing the nail.
I'm not, but you got to talk into the microphone, otherwise people are going to hear.
That's the last. I thought we were going off air.
We are. We're sending it over to Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith for the post-game wrap-up. Thanks all for being here all season long. Final, Vancouver 45, Detroit 17. Stay tuned for Mike and Gerald's final thoughts and their congrats to Vancouver. And to wrap up season 26, we'll be back. Alrighty. That's fine. I already shared it with you. It doesn't matter.
Welcome to the season 26 championship game post-game show. Mike Daggs, Gerald Smith with you. What a game for Vancouver. Boy, were we wrong with our picks once again. 45-17. Vancouver is your season 26 champion.
Mike, we had no idea what we were talking
Not a
about
clue.
the last couple of weeks. And you know what? Vancouver definitely proved us wrong last week.
They did.
And they did it again this week in dominating fashion. I mean, well played on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. You had talked about in the halftime show about how Detroit needed to come out in the second half and get a touchdown on that opening drive. They didn't. They would punt it away. Vancouver looked every bit as dominant in the first half as they did the second half on both sides of the ball, and Vancouver now wins their second consecutive SFL championship game, and they join 4 other teams that have done this same thing. Alaska Storm back in season 10 and 11, Baltimore in season 17 and 18, Florida Storm in season 21 and 22, and Mexico City, of course, in season 23 and 24, and now Vancouver in season 25 and 26. And a couple of those teams like Alaska, Alaska and Florida teams one and the same. And Alaska actually won season 10, 11, and 12. Baltimore, meanwhile, 17 and 18, they did it again in 19 and 20.
Right.
So, I mean, it's been a bit of a trend for a while.
Yeah, it is. And Vancouver continues that trend, which is, hey, if you win one championship, you are very likely hold it true. You're going to win another one if you get back to the championship game, right? So, like I said, Baltimore won 4 straight, and then you had Florida, couple, you guys a couple.
Yep.
And now Vancouver a couple as well, but very well deserved. They join exclusive company.
They do, yeah. I mean, this is a trend that's been going on all the way since season 17 when Baltimore won those 4 straight, Florida with the 2, Mexico City with the 2, now Vancouver with the 2. Will we see somebody new next season that is already set up to win in season 28? Who knows? We'll see, but it's just an absolute domination all the way around for Vancouver. Christian Brown, these are the unofficial stats, but they were tracked by Ron Haynes and Eddie Gage, so these are pretty darn close.
Correct.
Christian Brown, 14 of 21, 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and dare I say, I think we can just go out on a limb. We haven't confirmed this with the league, but I'm going to declare Christian Brown your season 26 SFL championship MVP. 4 touchdowns, no picks, just absolutely tore apart that Detroit defense and did so after throwing 27 interceptions in the regular season, 3 interceptions in the quarterfinal round, no interceptions last week, no interceptions this week. Christian Brown, MVP.
Look, I challenged him, right?
Yeah.
You and I both challenged him because he threw a lot of picks and everything else. We thought it may happen.
Yes.
Christian Brown says, hey, guys, hold my beer, hold whatever you want, just sit back and watch it. I can go clean, and I can get the job done. And he did it the last 2 weeks. And today, congratulations. Him being the MVP of this game, nearly 300 yards passing, and 149.3 QBR.
Darn near perfect. Yeah, and that's the thing.
It's insane.
149.3 QBR. What do you have to do to get 158.3 if it's not no touch or no interceptions, 4 touchdowns? Maybe he just needed 9 more yards to get to 300.
I don't know, but very, very, very good, clean game. Look, and like I said, for Detroit, look, congratulations for them getting here, right? I doubted them the entire season. Didn't think they had what it took, but they had what it took to get this far. They just ran into a team that was so much more prepared for the moment than they was, and they were not. I think they would agree. They were not prepared to play in this moment, and they got punched in the face early, and they just could not rebound from it. But Vancouver, totally legit squad, looked like they looked last season when they started railroading people on the way to a championship win. They railroaded last week, and they did it again today.
And to that point, I don't think this is anything that Detroit did wrong. Ethan Flowers only had 1 interception, and that was at the end of the game to close the game out while he was trying to, catch back up. But otherwise, 2 touchdowns and no picks throughout most of it, and had over 200 yards. Spread the ball around to 4 different receivers. The running game, Williams held only 77 yards, but along with Gibson and even Flowers himself, they did put over 100 yards on the ground. But it was just, that 21-point deficit in the first 5 minutes is just an almost impossible thing to overcome for any team. And they were clawing their way back into it. If those 21 points don't happen right off the get-go, even if, you let Vancouver get that opening drive touchdown, and everybody, it looked easy. Everybody was like, holy cow, is this about to be the floodgates opening? And it was, but it was through a punt return touchdown, and then an all-out blitz decision by Detroit's defense. So there were some things where it was like, okay, if those didn't happen, then maybe it'd be a closer ball game.
And one thing for Detroit, I think that they kind of have lived on, right, when their offense is struggling and everything else, was their defense, right? Yes. Their defense was always their solid rock they could fall back on to get you to stop what you needed, get the turnover when you needed it, and everything else. They did not have that today, they needed it bad, they got no turnovers whatsoever, and it put them in a bad situation.
Even 1 or 2 turnovers, especially if one of those could have gone for 6 points immediately with a pick 6 or a fumble, scoop and score, something. They just needed something, and it just wasn't there. And Vancouver capitalized on it. Christian Brown was able to spread the ball around to 5 different targets. 3 of them had touchdowns, 1 of them multiple touchdowns. Nick Lockett, in his final game, he had 2 catches in this one, Gerald. 2 catches. That's it. Both touchdowns.
Both touchdowns.
Yeah, way to close out a long career. He was back with the Aztecs. We still miss him and think about him, and he's done great things with Vancouver, beating his former team in the championship last season, then getting another championship to close out his career. Your guy John Michael Sudduth, darn near 100 yards himself. Ezekiel Bear over 100 yards. Brett Killian, I think he talked about in the pregame how he wanted 20 catches and hundreds of yards.
Right.
He got 2. But he also got that punt return touchdown. They even used him in the run game. He had more rushing attempts than he had receptions. Very good all around. Devin Lloyd with over 100 yards on the ground as well. And Killian able to get a couple of catches in addition to his 14 rushing yards. Devin Lloyd with his 100 yards on the ground, also getting a rushing touchdown. Kenneth Gatson Jr. going up against his former team, double-digit tackles. He was a big difference maker, actually led the Legion in tackles. And, one interception, of course, by Mark Lopez to close out the game. That was the only turnover in the entire game. But any final thoughts on this one?
Vancouver earned it, right? Vancouver earned it, right? They went through, and did everything they needed to do. Detroit, they didn't play the game that they're used to playing, and I know they're going to go back. They're going to look at this film. Who knows? They might be right back in this game and competing again next season, right? Just like Vancouver did when they lost to you guys, right?
Absolutely.
They went there and reviewed it. So Vancouver played their game. This game went exactly how I think they drew it up, and they knew it was going to come. Detroit was not as prepared as we all thought they may have been. So, look. Congratulations to Vancouver, even congratulations to Detroit, right, for getting this far.
One of the final 2. So, absolutely. Congratulations to Vancouver. You are the Season 26 SFL champions. For the other 20 teams in the league, Season 27's already underway, isn't it? We're all planning. We're getting ready. The SFL convention is at the end of July. It's in Denver, Colorado. That will be week 1. It's much closer than you think. It's only about a month and a half away, if that. So really looking forward to getting season 27 going. And hey, with the championship in the book, everybody's 0-0. All 21 teams are able to now look ahead and try to think that they can be here next season and get their name etched on the SFL championship trophy. Just want to do a quick thank you to everybody that has helped with the Matt Wilson SFL kickoff show throughout the season and tonight with the championship shows. Ashley Jackson with her interviews, Mike O'Neill coming in clutch, putting that nice video together for us. That was great. Ron Haynes, a big thank you to Ron Haynes. He put so many videos together and has really enhanced the show in ways that we could have never have imagined. I know we say that all the time, but I don't care. I'm going to say it every single time because he deserves the accolades. And all the stats he's done, he just had posted, I think he did 64 stats games this season.
Wow.
64. So, absolutely incredible all the work he does. And, of course, to Cameron Irvine for doing the production, running the league, and everything that he does to bring this to life for everybody and make it a reality for all of us. But that's it. That's all the time that we've got. So Vancouver, enjoy your championship. Everybody else, get ready. Season 27, it's right around the corner, and we'll be back to get that kicked off for you and enjoy talking about each matchup every single week. So it's all that we got. This has been the Season 26 Championship postgame show. Mike Daggs, Gerald Smith signing off. We'll see you all next season.